So you're just live.
Cool.
Hi, everyone. Sorry that my face is a little blocked. I don't know how to fix that. So that's what we're doing today. I have Jose and Steph with me. You guys might be familiar with them. They're both amazing. And so we're just going to have like a hangout session. We're going to talk about numbers and we're going to talk about hopefully amazing experiences and cool stuff. So that's the plan today. So as far as I know, Jose, you are just starting your spiritual journey, and
Yeah.
Steph, you've been really aware of your spiritual journey. Is that right?
Yes, but I've been very much activated to a greater degree starting pretty much this summer when I found Lara's podcast and met the right people that, of course, I had asked the universe for, and the universe delivered. So now I have my tribe.
Yeah, delivered times 10, right? Pretty cool. Yeah.
Big wake-up calls lately, yes.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Angeline. I actually see you guys, which is amazing. Hi, Michelle. If anybody joins us and they don't join StreamYard, like just give permission to it. There should be a link at the top of this recording, hopefully. I don't know how it works on the other platforms, but I know on Facebook it should be a link at the top. If you just give us permission, then we'll be able to see who you are. So, and you only have to do that once, and then it'll show us you forever. So anyway, so Jose and Steph can see your comments as well. I'm so glad that you're here live, Nicole. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I did a reading. So this is what happened. I don't know if I told you guys this, but like this is what happened. I have been trying to learn more about different numbers. Like there's certain numbers that I know, but I don't really know enough about. And I've been really super fascinated with the 7 for about a year or so now. Like something leveled up where I learned more about my 7 because I have 1 7. Okay. And something happened where I started being really aware of that 7. And I started finally getting serious about learning more. And I was like talking to my guides kind of like in my head. And I said, I really want to learn more about this 7. Like, I really want to understand because it's like a superpower. Like, it's always been like this big superpower that I've had that I don't really understand all the way. And then, you know, the universe always delivers, you know? And so I had Steph, we had, I think, a 4-hour reading. Is that right?
It was.
Yeah, which I didn't tell you, Jose. I don't know if I told you, but I literally got off the reading with Steph and then I had you right after. And the whole time that I was sitting there with Steph, I was like, I wonder what these 7s would be like with a 1. You know, like that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't saying it. And then you have the 1s. So Steph, you have the 2s, right?
I have 1, 2, and a bunch of 7s. Yeah, 3 7s.
Okay. So yeah, I should have wrote out your charts. Let me write out your charts so that I can look at them while we talk. Because that'll help me get more information as we go. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Donna. What did you say, Steph?
I said I expected you to be comparing us in some ways.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally going to compare you. Is that going to mess with your ego at all?
No, just drawing some comparisons. Right?
The 7's already coming up.
Yeah. I just figured I'd ask. Like sometimes when I start comparing people, they're like, "Oh man," you know, like it messes with them. Okay, so
that's all good. You're a 77 as well, right?
What?
Yeah.
Jose, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're fire snakes in Chinese astrology.
That's correct. We're the snakes. Yep.
Oh, you're the snakes. Oh, I should be careful.
That's actually couldn't be further from the truth.
Really?
When I learned about it, I was like, "Oh yeah, snake it!" And then we're actually super soft and wise and very kind and nurturing and caring. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like a snake, but
yeah, the 7s are all about wisdom. So okay, so Jose, tell me your numbers again.
11, 17, 77.
Okay, and then Steph, tell me your numbers again.
27, 77.
Okay. And I'm just going to write them out and then we'll start talking about them. What I'll talk about while I'm doing this is, so I'm going to talk about your ones and your two first, just so that we get a basis of like what the starting point is of where these sevens are going, kind of like what's directing these sevens.
I have a question about how you do things.
Okay.
How do you decide which row if you're going to be putting in the spiritual, mental, or physical?
Yeah, so they're all the same. I get asked this a lot lately. It's always the same exact setup. So let me show you my book. So this is my book. I know you can't really see me. I don't know how to remove that now that I made it, like now that I put it there. So
your face is just at the right spot, so at least you fit.
At least that's good. You can kind of see me. I mean, you don't need to see me. It's fine.
You're in the eternal, eternal bliss.
Yeah, this is my zone of protection. Maybe, I don't know. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Adam. Let's see. Unclick it. Yeah, tell me where to do that, and I'll do it. I have no idea how to do that. I probably shouldn't focus on figuring that out right now either. Okay, so hopefully I can hold this up and actually show it to you. So this is my book. My book is really small. But this is the only book I have. These are all my numerology notes. Okay, so this is awesome. You cannot barely see it. Okay, but this is where the numbers go. This is where the numbers always go. And you can kind of see like all the numbers go with the chakras as well. So that's my little diagram for the chakras. But the numbers always go in the same place. So on the spiritual, you will always have the 1, the 3, and the 9. The mental is always going to be the 5, the 7, and the 5, the 6, and the 7. And the physical is always going to be the 2, 4, and 8. Anything that's in, sorry, I can't see it. I can usually see through my paper. So anything that's in this column, those are all your goals. So like that's where your goals get put. And basically everything just adds up in those rows depending on what you have. So like, I wrote Jose's already. So he basically has, I'll show it to you. So he basically has, let me get it in the window. I'm so sorry about this. This is so frustrating. I don't know why I do know why it's like this because I was trying to be fancy. Anyway, okay, so can you guys see it? I think it's in the window.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Okay. So like you can see in he's got these 1s and these 7s. So he's got a 3, a 21, and then a 24 for his main life purpose, you know? And then yours is going to be the 21 and then the 2. Okay. So yeah, so you guys are really similar, but also really different. Okay. Like your focus is different. So how that works is that, so Jose, you have the 1s and hang on. Sorry. Yeah, Laura, I just explained that, like what row and column they go in. They all go in the same place every time. Anyway, so you have these 1s. The 1s say that you are determined to be an individual. You are determined to be yourself and an individual. You won't be told what to do or how to do it. You are someone that is very directional. You are someone that is like on a very set path, and you're a leader. And so the reason why I kind of go off on things, but it's like I can't stay focused because the numbers start talking to me right when I start, you know? So the reason why I told both of you very different things that I was seeing while I was doing it, it was like, Jose, I kept seeing you on a stage. I kept seeing you be a motivational speaker, and I kept seeing you write books and things, you know, and promote those books. Steph, when I was with you, I also saw you heading a crowd. Okay. But what I saw with you was more a magician type feeling. I don't know how I explained that to you, but I remember thinking that you were someone that might hypnotize a whole crowd. Like that's what I was thinking. I don't know if I said that because I don't know if I thought that would be offensive, but that's what I was thinking.
My life path has become more clear to me. Perhaps you're seeing me a little bit more like a um, sure, as a hypnotist, but
Yeah.
I'm a healer. So
Yeah.
my main mission is to take an evolutionary step in how we heal ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's possible that I could be doing a mass hypnosis at some point, or I would call it more like a guided meditation.
Yeah.
Better way to
That's
put it.
kind of what I was seeing. Like, so I mean, I remember the visions I was seeing with you. I remember both visions actually because they were very clear. Like, I even saw Star behind the stage with you, Jose. Like, I saw her on the side of the stage, like cheering you on and helping you. Sorry, my dog is laying under my bed crying. I don't know if he's stuck, but I'm just gonna give him a minute and see if he can. But he's literally crying under my bed. Anyway, so I can't help it. I'm getting distracted a little bit. But
Can
anyway,
I say something here? I just want to point out what you just said about how you you were tapped into our energy one at a time, which completely it totally influences the reading as well. Because I practice palmistry, and the same line that looks almost the same to like myself or anyone will have a different interpretation as I connect to the person's energy. So that's the same thing with you. So the the number's the same, but what it represents to the person might come across differently, right? In your interpretation.
What's funny is you can look at two people that have identical birthdays and they will be completely different, like totally different, because you'll connect to their energy. So I did twins a few months ago and I didn't know if they were going to be the same. Like, I really wasn't sure. And I was like, yeah, please put them in. They were so different. Like, it was like night and day different, and it was so obviously different. So it's crazy. Yeah, you can hear him crying, right? I'm going to check on him. I think he's stuck under my
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. He's a very big dog. He shouldn't be stuck. But Oliver, are you okay? Come here. Come here. What's the matter? Are you stuck? Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness, he's stuck under my bed. Oh, I got you. I'm helping you. I know I'm not trying to hurt you. I love you. He tried to bite me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love
Comic relief there.
So he, I don't know if I can show you. Well, no, now he's fighting with the other dog. But he actually was stuck under my bed. He lays under my bed because he doesn't like how bright it is. And so he puts his head under there. Well, he like must have moved, more and more, maybe when he was sleeping. I don't know. But he was actually stuck under there crying. So he's a huge dog too. So, but he's a little fat. He eats really well. So anyway, so yeah. So when I connect to energy, it's like I used to say this really creepy thing that I don't say anymore. I used to say that I step into your body and I feel the world the way that you feel it. But that's not quite true, thank God. Like, that's a good thing that that's not true. I think that's creepy too. But I do step into your energy field, and I do see how you perceive the world. Like the very first thing I always feel into, especially when I see sevens, is if you are someone with a superiority complex, because you're so intelligent, and it can happen really fast. Like, it can happen really easily because it's really easy to look at the world like everybody's stupid. And I'm not saying you don't think that sometimes, but like if that's predominantly the way that you're living, you're not an energy I want to be around too much, But I also am not going to give you a reading the same way. Like, I'm going to okay, like for instance, Steph, with your 2, I would feel into that to see how much of a doubter you are, because 2s are such doubters. They're the only people who have ever told me I wasn't right about the things I've told them. It's the only time, What?
It's a very skeptical energy I have, and it's very scientific as well. So my approach to all of this, my whole life, has been with strong skepticism where I need repeated validation and reassurance.
Yeah. Well,
I've had
that's
so much. I've had so much that
yeah. That's
that
the other thing with the 7, or sorry, with the 2, is that you are somebody that is so like it's not just you, it's anybody with a 2, okay? 2s have a high level of insecurity. So when it comes to relationships, I always like to tell their partner they need constant reassurance. If they don't get constant reassurance, they're not okay. Like they're not going to be stable in a relationship. They're going to go crazy on you at some point. Some people, not everybody, depending on their other numbers. But like a lot of times they're going to spiral because they're not sure that you love them anytime you're out of their sight. They're not sure that you're cheating on them. They're not sure what's going on. They also have a high level of frustration because the words that they want to say don't always come out clearly, so it's really hard, you know. But the thing with the 2 is that you're so heart driven. So like everything that you do is with your why. And you're so in touch with your why that it makes you such an authentic person. Like it makes you truly authentic, although you're really good at masking. So like it's like so many things. It's so many levels to it.
yeah.
But you're somebody that I could see nobody actually understanding, but same with Jose. So like the 7 is a very misunderstood number to begin with because you work in layers, and nobody can really reach your layers anyway. You don't really reach them yourself even. But it's like the 2 mixed with the 7, it makes you somebody that is kind of a master of that energy. It's like I don't know how to say it. It's kind of like you control the way you're perceived somehow, like you can control it better. Now, when you have the 1, it's like you are somebody that is using that as a guide. Like the 1 is guiding your 7s. So you have a very strong mission that's very forward. That's like you're so driven, and so motivated. And the only thing I would worry about with the 1s is that you would be really stubborn, like you'd be somebody who is like immovable stubborn. That's what I would see. Anyway, those are the things that I feel into first. I always wonder, how are you taking the world? Are you angry? Are you upset? Like, are you feeling slighted in any way? Are you feeling like a lot of times 2s feel like they are ignored and like they fade into the background and people don't notice them, but sometimes that's on purpose because they like that, but then other times it's too much and then they get their feelings hurt, so because other people don't know how to treat you, because that's kind of energy you give off is you don't want to be seen. But then like when you do want to be seen, you're like, hey, why don't you notice me, and so that's where the insecurity comes for the 2. And then the 1s are kind of in your face. The 1s are like, I'm in your face. I'm always here, like I'm always present. I'm always here. And I'm always like, I've always got this mission that I'm focused on, and so yeah, it's very different energy. The 7s are also very charismatic. So like they're super charismatic people. They're the most charming people there are, so like
Fire
7.
snake. So
What?
the 77 is the fire snake, and it's doubled charming. That
Oh,
the fire snake is charming. That's part of it.
that's awesome.
My
Yeah.
graduating class were a lot of attractive people. Like people found the 77s attractive where they went. That I had noticed that about my generation.
Yeah. And that's one of your biggest qualities actually for both of you, is that you're very charismatic, you're very charming, you're very attractive. Like your energy. I'm not trying to like, I just, but it's true. It's like your energy is magnetic to people. And so whenever you are around, people are going to notice you. It's kind of like my mom used to always say that my grandmother was someone that when she walked in the room, everybody turned and looked. And then I met somebody like that. Well, that's how the 7s are, so it's amazing. Anyway, let me look at the comments a little bit because I haven't been.
That's Danielle here, yeah.
What?
Because Danielle's funny.
Oh, I didn't get to the bottom yet. I'm like halfway through. So let's look at the bottom.
I didn't see them all either.
Look at Steph calling himself attractive. Steph is charming as fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I figured everyone knows you because I see your name everywhere. So like everyone must know you.
In the WA community,
And Laura's like, he's taken. Yeah, both of these men are married, right? You guys are both married. That's good. Yeah.
21 years for me, so I have no idea what the market is like.
So that's the other thing. I was trying to think about I was trying to feel into the energy because both of you are very committed people and you're both with someone for life, so like I wonder, it must come from the sevens,
My wife doesn't have a 7, and I think that she's born on the 22nd, and that thing you said about like a sort of insecurity for us, I think it's worth mentioning that it was just a no-brainer for us. It was neither of us would date somebody, and we're both very intuitive. We can read people's energy very easily. We can tell if anybody's lying, can't lie to us. And so we saw early on in a relationship, it was straight up, are you going to cheat on me? It was an obvious, overt question in our energy, and it was like, no, like it's just a no-brainer. If you don't want to be with me anymore, give me the heads up. Don't just cheat on me and ruin everything. Just say so, and then go meet somebody else if you want.
Yeah.
But that was an agreement. It was an unspoken agreement, and eventually, years later, we talked about it, that it was obvious.
Yeah.
Come from the two is what I was thinking.
I think it comes from both, but I think there's something with the 7 about loyalty. So I've always said that the 7 is a cheerleader for their partner. Like I always tell people, like whenever a guy comes to me and like a young man, like my daughter, not my daughter, my one of my friends, her son came to me for a reading, and he's like in his 20s, And I looked at his old relationship and I was like, holy crap, thank God that's over, And then I said, you need to find someone with a 7. And I said, because when you find someone with a 7, they're going to be your cheerleader. They're going to make you the man that you need to be to conquer the world. And a man is not strong without a cheerleader behind them, So like, it's not that you have to have a 7, but you have to have some energy that is supportive that way for a man to be able to have that energy that he needs, like that supportive energy, and 7s have that. And so that's who you are to your mates as well, because it works both ways. It's like you're the cheerleader that makes them the strong women that they can be to conquer the world, but it especially works really well on the other end, like when it's a woman with a 7, because the woman is going to be so supportive, but it works both ways. Honestly, it really does. It works both ways. Anyway, I said I was going to look at the comments, and then I really didn't. I'm going to do that. Yeah, it's hard to stay focused because there's so much energy, and you guys have really intense energy. I don't know if you know that, but I have trouble with your energy. And I told Michelle this. Michelle, I did on Friday's live. She has 4 7s or 5 7s. I don't remember. She has a lot of 7s. She has all 7s. And her energy was so strong, I couldn't sit with it. It was making me tingly. It's like when I go to a crystal shop and their energy's off at all, I start feeling really tingly because it's too much, But yeah, that's how I was feeling with her. So we're going to explore that a little more, but that's how I'm feeling with you guys. I have an actual tingliness in my throat because it's like the energy's too much a little bit. I mean, I can
get that a little bit in their throat. Some have to clear their throat while they channel.
Yeah, I just keep holding rocks. Like that's what I do all the time. But like I have like a whole bunch of crystals in front of me, and then I have some on the side of me, and it depends on which one I need. And lately it's been fire quartz. Like lately this one has been the one. But it's taking a lot of the big energy, and it's like somehow leveling it for me so I can handle it. Yeah.
Grounding.
So, yeah, grounding. Yeah, actually, Jose, when I was putting together your box and Star's box for the Secret Santas,
Right.
picked this one up because I was going to put it in one of your boxes and I couldn't put it down. So I was like, oh, wow, I must have to have this one. So I kept it, and that's on my desk every day. Anyway, okay, so I saw Sandy. I want to say hi, Sandy. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you get better. She's one of my coaching clients and I love her. So she says, what are their numbers? So I should show everybody your numbers again. I didn't really show them all the way anyway. Let me see if I can figure out how to get rid of this thing. It's so annoying.
Get rid of the bliss.
It's so bad. Well, I could get rid of my name. That might help. I don't know. Does that help? I mean,
everybody knows who we are at this point. If they
Yeah.
came in late, they can watch the replay.
Who everybody is. Let's see. Okay, and then how do I get rid of the overlay? That one. Oh, okay. Well, that did a little better. I guess I created a few of them. Okay, that's a little better. At least I can show things. And actually, I could put those back. Now it's not. Well, no, I can't.
No.
If I can make them smaller, do they go smaller? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay, let's just forget the names. I have the names on the top anyway, so it's fine. Okay, so these are your numbers. Let me see. Where's my pen? Okay, so these are Jose's numbers. He's got all the ones and the sevens basically, and then here's Steph's numbers. Hopefully you guys can see these. Let me hold it better.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
I forgot I had a 2 in the physical. I had a memory of you saying there was nothing in the 2. So
there's nothing in the spiritual for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So what that means is it's not that you haven't completed anything in the spiritual. It's that you mastered everything in the spiritual. So you don't need to work on that at all. And quite honestly, this is what I'm thinking since I talked to you, Steph, is that I think because you were saying something about because you guys have the same life purpose number. Well, you don't have the same life purpose number as me, but my life purpose number is a 21, and both of you have 21s as your goal numbers. So it's not technically your life purpose number like it is mine, but like I've always wondered, like, what does that mean? And I just got some downloads recently, like within the last year about that. But then Steph, you said something about, I was talking about avatars and you were like, you're basically one of those two, like, because an avatar is someone that's on a bonus life. Like they've completed everything and they came back just to help. That's kind of that's like when you said that, I kind of felt into that. And that's kind of what my guides have said now is that is what that number means. So
volunteers is
yeah, it doesn't really mean an avatar. It's not an avatar. It's somebody like an avatar that's literally here as a helper on Earth. And they've also told me that it's time to start saying it a little bit differently. Like I've always been saying that, you're the natural consoler with the 7. You're a spiritual guide, things like that. But they're like, no, tell people that they are spirit guides on Earth, because that is really important and people understand that. The other term I was using was like light bearers, which all is true. Those are all true. But they were like, use this word because this is the way people will understand. So anyone with a 7, you're technically somebody who is a guide on Earth. And you're someone who is working so closely with your spirit guides that you're on their team, like you're like an extension of their team, and their team is basically, here to raise the consciousness, so you have signed up to be on that team. So you're basically a spirit guide on Earth. And I really think that both of you and me, because we share the same kinds of things, I'm not the intensity that you guys are, but like, I think we're all here on purpose. Like, we're all here on purpose anyway, but I mean, like, I think we're all here extra, like we were already done and we came here literally just to come back and help, and that's basically what the guides said after I asked them about you, Steph, like after I asked them about some things that you said to me, because after your reading, I mean, literally, I had you for 4 hours, and then I had Jose and Star for the next 4 hours. I don't even know how many hours I worked that day. I think I probably ate at like 4 in the morning that day.
I think you had 2 or 3 1-hour sessions before me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I had a lot going on that day. But it was a great day because I learned so much. And so I really sat with the energy from both of you afterward. And I was like, what does this mean? You know, like, because sometimes you learn so much that you're on overwhelm. And I don't even think I've come down from that overwhelm. And obviously my guides are still sending me people with 7s. So
because we activated you. My guides activated you.
And
I got downloads to validate and to confirm what you were already learning, which was odd for me because this was my initiation to your approach, because I'm a fan of numerology in the more traditional sense that most people use. You have your own style, and somehow my guides understood. Like they already know it, maybe, I don't know, but they were like, oh, tell her this now because she's ready to take it to the next step. I'm like, you want me to tell this professional has been doing this for 20 years that I have something new for her? I'm like, okay. So
to tell you the truth, you guys are way more advanced than me. Like way more advanced than me, both of you. I know, Jose, you think you're just waking up, but you are literally just reawakening. Like you have been so much stronger in so many lives, and you're literally just stepping into it now. That's the only difference.
I definitely feel that way. And I think I told you this when you did my reading, that, this is something that I felt very strongly my whole entire life. And I've been fighting it in a way, because I think I told you that I don't want that responsibility. I didn't want that responsibility. And I think you finally, convinced me, and along with Start too. They're like, you know what, this is what you have to do. It doesn't matter whether you want to or not. This is what you just have to do.
Yeah.
So, but I've had many different things that have happened to me in the past, and I think I shared a lot of those things with you when you were doing my reading.
Yeah. I don't know how willing you are to talk about your experiences, but I would love for you to tell people some of the stuff that you told me because it was fascinating.
I guess I can share one thing. And Star knows this because this is something that I was able to do in the past. I haven't really tried it too much yet because I don't think I'm kind of quite there ready again to do it. But I'm able to, I did this when I met Star in one of our first dates when we went to a movie, actually. And I'm able to basically leap out of my body in a way and go just above where I'm at to an area where is completely there's a lot of light. There's a lot of white and a lot of yellow light.
You're astral projecting. That's what you do.
Yeah, but I can still see everything underneath me. It's kind of strange. I can see everything that's happening, but I'm able to feel outside of my body in a way, and I'm able, and I know I can do this because I start feeling like a vibration, a very strong vibration, and I'm in. If somebody were to touch me, they can actually feel it too. And Star actually felt it, and that's how I knew that I wasn't just like making it up in a way.
Yeah.
So I used to be able to do that quite often. I haven't really tried it lately, to be honest with you. And like I said, I just don't feel like I'm ready for that yet again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was one of the things that I was able to do a lot before, and I'm talking about like 20 years ago.
Yeah. So cool. So cool. Like, I love it. So Michelle is here. She says, I'm late, but I'll watch the replay. We're still live, Michelle.
I wanted to respond
the one that has all those 7s.
So she's July 7th of 77. I remember her mentioning that.
Yeah.
All the 7s.
She's very.
She should be on here too.
I invited her, but she said she didn't want to go live. So Michelle, if you change your mind, we're open. I'll invite you right now.
I wanted to address that for Jose as well. When you
Yeah.
said you were kind of hoping to coast and sit on the sidelines and all that, that's
Yeah.
completely and utterly your choice.
Yes.
It seems like your guides are bringing, or channeling through humans to kind of urge you to do it. But ultimately, the only reason you would do it is because you want to, right? It's not like, oh, I feel a responsibility or that kind of thing. You don't have a responsibility. It's if you're meant to be doing it, you'll just keep getting those nudges and you'll just fall into it either way, even as reluctant as you might feel. That's just kind of being human, maybe, that's holding you back, Like
Yeah, and I think the reluctancy in a way has kind of washed away now.
Good.
It was more of a thing that I just kind of wanted to coast through life, like you said. But
Me too.
it's I don't know. It's just I feel this. I guess I feel the calling stronger than ever now, in a way. And I want to do it now, because I can see the positive aspect of it, how much I can help in a way. And that's really one of the things that I've always, it's been kind of one of my missions in life, to help people. And I feel that the best way to do it is kind of channel some of my talents or some of my gifts in a way.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
The world needs it, so that'll be motivation enough, or it already is becoming motivation enough for you, because that's what. And it was a lot easier for me to get these things as a sort of bystander when the two of you were doing the live where she was reading your numbers again, and so that's why I was able to throw some tidbits, because it's easy for me to kind of throw my 2 bits in without interrupting anyone by just typing it in, right? So that's why I was getting some messages for you of your validation, confirmation of what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Steph is so tapped in. I know you know that. You must know that.
It's becoming. I'm starting. All it happened is it's been this way for a long time, but I never really trusted it. I thought it was my imagination. So, and it turns out that the imagination, and this is why I'm repeating it. It turns out the imagination is the way to tap into it. So when you have some crazy ideas, it could be just the way it's being filtered or whatnot, that to make so that your mind can understand. But there's validity to all of that, all of those ideas that come out creatively, right? Which is why there's so much of it that I feel very much pulled to make art, because that's how I channel, and my hands are a big part of how I channel. So I say this to encourage everyone everybody has the ability, each and every one of us. So all our doubting is the only reason we don't do it. So it took me many years it's sort of like levels, right? You level up, and then when you have enough trust, you can raise your vibration some more and level up some more. So that's something I want to teach and share. And Jose has the same message in some ways, and then other things as well.
So that's what the 21 is all about.
Okay.
I've been asking about the 21 since I was a kid, because my mom always said, my mom's who taught me numerology, okay? And I just have whatever she remembers because she studied it when I was a baby. That's who I learned by, and then everything else comes from my guides. I tried researching it, but I can't find my type of numerology, so I've never read a book on it. But I would love to read a book on it. If I could find a book on it, I would devour it, But anyway, so the 21 is the soulmate number, okay? And so in my numbers, I have if you look at my numbers in a chart, it says that one of my goals is to be a leader. One of my goals is to find my twin flame. And then one of my goals is to suffer, probably so I can relate to people. I had a really hard life. And then the 21 is my main life purpose number. And then that's the soulmate number. And so my mom used to say, it means that you're here to collect your soulmates. And I didn't know what that meant. I was always like, what does that mean? I didn't know if that was love or what. but I was always very popular growing up, you know, like in high school and stuff. And I've always been surrounded by people. Like even now, like whenever I go to an event, people are always crowded around me. Like I'm always in the center, you know, and I've always been like that my whole life. And so what I finally was told by my guides was the 21 means that I am a collector of soulmates. I am somebody that has come here, and you guys too. This is going to apply to you directly. So like
maybe a tribe, maybe.
Yeah, came here to collect your tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so we're from this really big soul tribe, okay, that's huge, that probably everyone here is part of as well. And we are here to raise the vibration quicker so that like bring all of our soulmates to awareness of who they are and how powerful they really are, and help them to learn that you know, like help them reawaken to who they really are and what their goals were. Like their goals were to be these powerful creators and to raise the vibration on the planet and to be light workers themselves and things like that. But mainly we're all ascending soon. And so it's like time for us to finish up. And so the quicker we learn our plans, the quicker we're reawakened to our plans, the quicker we can ascend. And we can all ascend because we ascend as a group. So there's a lot of us that are waiting to ascend, you know, over a few lifetimes now. But that's what we're here for, is to do that, you know. And when I see, you know, like when I see Jose up on a stage and writing books and promoting those books and talking about them and stuff like that, and then I see you in a crowd doing something with a big crowd, and then I see myself up on a stage being a motivational speaker my whole life. When I see those things, I don't know if they're metaphorical or not. I don't think mine is. I don't know if your guys is. I don't think yours is either. I'm not sure. But what I think is that that's how many people we're going to affect, is like we're meant to affect a lot of people because we are tapping into the divine wisdom. That's what the sevens are all about, is divine wisdom. And so we are tapped in and we are natural channels to bring that through, you know. So the reason why you always have the right thing to say at the right time to the right people is because you are not saying it. It's not you saying it, you know. It is your guide saying it. It is the divine saying it. It is the wisdom on the other side that is speaking through you to raise the awareness on the planet, you know. And it's such a high calling. And that's why, Jose, you felt like you wanted to hide from it for a long time, because it feels bigger than you. And I've had the same feeling my whole life. It felt bigger than me. It felt scary and I didn't understand it. And then finally, I just said, okay, fine. What is it? Because it's like it would knock on my door over and over and over. And I kept trying to run from it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to. I just want to have a normal life. But I've never been a normal person. Like, I've never been someone that just fits in and goes with the everyday. I am so adventurous and I just can't get enough adventure. And it's like, of course I'm supposed to meet more people. Of course I'm supposed to do bigger things, you know. I've been called to it, and you guys have too, you know. Now, Steph, you're a different way though. You're gonna hide a little bit more. Like yours is going to be, I feel like me and Jose are more a public type, and you're more the background type, but then you're also the public type. You're both. I just don't understand how that makes sense to me, but you're both. That's what I feel. That's why I saw you among the crowd rather than, you were still leading the crowd, but I saw you literally sitting with the crowd, not sitting, but inside the crowd. I didn't see you on the stage where I saw me and Jose when I have my visions about me or my visions about him.
Well, for me, a teacher is someone who leads by example. So yeah. I'm not really one to face people, and I'm more someone who would invite people along with me as we take the steps. Yeah. So that does make sense. That's just more my approach. Just, you know, it's rather than lead the way, is more specifically, it's more like be the example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I met a guy once a few years ago who was incredible. Okay. And me and him, every time we hung out, it felt like we went into a vortex together. We would always lose 3 hours every time we were together. We never dated or anything, never did anything romantically, but we met, and then we just would do that. We would hang out for, I don't know, maybe a year or something. And every time we did, it was like we went into this vortex. Well, I read his numbers, and the only message that could come to my head was profit, which I've never ever had before. Like, I've never ever thought anything like that about anybody. And I kept seeing him as somebody that was walking with Jesus. Like, I don't know if it was metaphorically or what, but it felt like he was supposed to lead people somewhere. And it was like he had done that throughout time, that he was like a nomad, and he was someone who was leading people somewhere. Not that he was Jesus, but that he was one of the, I don't know what they're called, but disciples. Yeah. But I kept getting the word prophet. And then even like that same week when I did it, my friend handed me a book called The Prophet. And I was like, oh my goodness, what does this mean? And then I went to my mom. What?
That's a fantastic book by Khalil Gibran. Highly recommend.
Actually, read it. It's on my shelf. but I should read it. Yeah. But I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm not going to tell you anything about this guy, but just do his numbers, okay? And she goes, he's a prophet. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, how did she know, right? Like I did. Like, I've never said that ever before. This guy blew my mind. I mean, I'm still friends with him, but we don't talk a lot. He's a nomad. He goes from place to place, but he knew that too. He said his whole life, he felt like he was just meant to gather people and have them follow him. So Steph, the reason why I'm telling you this is because you give me the same vibes as him. It's leadership vibes, but it's also following vibes. It's like I'll show you the way, but I'm just one of you, and
there's no hierarchy. There's nobody. It's very biblical as well. The rich man or the poor man, they're the same. It doesn't matter. We're all there's a unity. We're all the same anyways. We're all one. So nobody impresses me with their new car or anything like that. And if I see someone on the streets, I lived in Montreal and Toronto, and I was that guy that was like, oh, like, how are you doing? What's wrong? Is there something, I could help you with? Okay. Like indirectly, I wasn't like, what are you doing there? A little more sensitive about it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was going to ask what his numbers were, so I guess they're similar.
Oh, I don't remember his numbers. They're probably like I haven't talked to him now for a few years. We lost touch during the pandemic. I know he's around, but he's in Puerto Rico right now, I think. He was going to go to Spain. I was supposed to visit him in Puerto Rico because 2020 was supposed to be my year of travel. That didn't happen, so we kind of lost touch a little bit. I know he's around. I just don't talk to him much, but he's incredible. If I can ever pin him down, I'm going to get him on here too sometime. He's incredible, like just phenomenal person. I don't know. So yeah, like there's just certain people that are like that like, it right when you meet them. There's something different about them. That's how I felt about both of you. It's like there's something different about you guys. And I'm not a fangirl type either. Okay. Like I think that does come from the 7, where that everybody's the same. You have the awareness that everybody's the same. So like I've met stars and I'm like, I'm not impressed. Like I've said that directly to them. Like, I met this one rapper and I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, but listen to my music. I'm like, I don't care. And so what I said to him was, I said, you talk about like guns and violence and raping and all that kind of crap in your music. And he's like, well, yeah, that's what sells. And I said, yeah, I hate that. I hate that you're promoting that message. So, but yeah, some famous rapper. I forget his name. Oh, Slim Thug. Ugh. Anyway, I shouldn't say. He was just, his energy was crappy. I picked him up at a strip club. I used to be an Uber driver, and by the way, that was my favorite job in the whole world. Like it was the best job I ever had. Anyway, but yeah, So yeah, I've never been like the fangirl type, but I recognize people. I recognize something in people right away, like because their energy field is different. So like you can feel when someone's in flow and you can feel when someone isn't. And so the energy field of flow is the energy field of like of everything going, like you just going with inspiration, you know. And you can tell, like one of the biggest things I learned when I was an Uber driver is that as soon as someone gets in your car, you don't even have to look at them to see them. You know all about them from the energy that changes in the car. Like it changes really fast. And you know if you're in danger, you know if you're going to have fun, you know if they're like, you know, personable, like you know a million things about them in an instant, you know, just by their energy field. And that was what it taught me so much. And like one time I met this guy that's like I forget what he does, but he does some kind of footwork dance thing and he travels the world. And I was like, hey, so I don't ever know if people are famous, but do you have this like famous you know, energy about you? And he was like some kind of famous, but it was like he actually had that energy field that he was tapped into. And that's what all it was. It was that he had a higher level of operation, like where I could feel that. And I can feel that with both of you, where you guys aren't really on the human level. You know, it's like you are, because you are very much in the world and living in society, but you actually are not, your consciousness is not, you know, because you're operating on a higher and deeper level than most people, you know, because you're working with the guides and the divine wisdom, and then you're also working in layers. Like so something I've been explaining lately is that time isn't real, which I've always said, but I've always had a thing with time. But time isn't real, and time isn't the way that we think it is. It doesn't go in a straight line. It doesn't go in a direction in front of us. It's not flat. It's layered, you know? So like some people have the ability to work in those layers all at the same time. That's anybody with a 7, you know, and somebody with a lot of 7s, that's why you guys manipulate energy so well. It's why you are master manipulators of energy. You can actually bend the energy field around you, and that's what you're doing, Jose, when you do those things, you know. um
So,
anyway.
so one of the things is from your class yesterday, when you know, when you had the you had us do the exercise with the rubbing of the hands of the
I
palms.
was so afraid nobody was feeling that. I wasn't sure.
So I actually did it and
Yeah,
see how far I could extend my hands.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I can extend them as far as I can, and I can still feel the energy. And actually,
yeah,
I've been feeling the energy even without rubbing my hands anymore. So I can actually feel it
yeah,
even now.
yeah.
So
So
it's really, really
I
strange.
didn't tell you guys yesterday because what I'm doing with my membership is it is beginner stuff, okay? But one of the things I didn't tell you guys is that that was me activating your energy field. Like I just didn't want to tell you that because I didn't want anyone to be freaked out by that. But like when you do energy work, and you start feeling your own energy and you start feeling that you can control your own energy field, that's actually activating your control of it, you know. So that's what happened probably, you know. And anyone that was more sensitive to it is aware of it, like really aware of it, you know. So but I was afraid that people weren't feeling it. And so like after the thing, I was working on the worksheets and things like that, and I did it myself again. I should do it on here just so you guys can you know, experience it. But I did it again, and I was like, holy crap, that was so strong. I couldn't even put my hands back together. It was so strong. Anyway, so this is how you can tell. This is how you can tell that you affect your own energy field. Okay, this is how you can become aware of it. So rub your hands together really fast, and just do it until it feels really hot, and it'll feel tingly, and it'll feel like something's going on, kind of. And then stop when you feel like it's warm, like really warm and tingly. And then pull your hands apart. Focus on the empty space in between your hands. Imagine that there is something that is connecting them, and then just move them apart and move them together, and do that slowly until you start feeling like there is a magnetism and also a resistance. You'll start feeling that there is something in between them that you can't see. And then once you start feeling that there's energy in there that you just created, then move it apart as like a little bit at a time and see how far you can get that energy to go. And you can tell that you created something, and I can see energy, so I can actually see it moving inside my hands in that empty space, which is really cool. But that's how you learn how to control your own energy field. That is step one in learning that you are the manipulator of energy. You are the manipulator of your own energy field, and you can really do something with that. I used to make balls of energy, and I would direct them places. So that's the next step, is that you actually put intent behind that energy. You know, right now I just wanted you guys to learn what energy is and how, and prove to yourself that you could control it, because that's what this month in the membership is all about, is energy manipulation. But you know, the next step is actually focusing it on something, you know, and doing something with it, something positive with it. I'm always trying to say, I am all love and light. Please don't ever use anything that I teach you for bad, you know. So anyway,
if anybody wants to practice what we just did an example of, look into Qigong, which you can learn on Divinate with Daniela and Christopher.
Oh, cool. Do they teach all this too?
Yes, they even give free lessons. They have Sacred Sundays with an hour of Qigong first, and then Daniela leads a guided meditation verbally afterward.
Cool.
It's all there for the taking. So if anybody's ready to learn to manipulate, practice energy, exactly what you just did, and take it a step further with your full body, is fantastic. I do it every Sunday with them. They have the Sacred Sunday.
I'm obsessed with energy. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out too. That is so great. Whitney says Steph is really creating something. Did you create something with your energy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I went right into the Qigong, and there's one of my favorite movements in Qigong, standing, and you put a wide stance, and you can do the figure eight with your energy.
Neat.
So I was almost heading towards that, because it just feels very natural for me. But the idea of thoughts and prayers, when you want to send loving energy, healing energy to anybody, it's essentially that. You can do it in your mind's eye, or if you're practicing doing it, do it with your hands. Do it exactly like this. Create that ball of energy, and then, like I just gave it to you guys. At the end, I just gave you guys all a big jolt of energy at the end.
I was at a Tony Robbins event. I actually wanted to talk about something else last night on the live training, and I forgot. But I wanted to teach you guys another exercise, so I'm probably going to make another video somewhere in the month with that. But I was at the Tony Robbins UPW event, a few years ago, and there was this guy on stage. I don't remember his name, but it was like Master somebody. He was really cool. Anyway, he was doing energy work. And so there's 13,000 people there. And I only know that because Tony Robbins kept saying that, you know, throughout the whole event, that there were over 13,000 people at the event. This guy was up on the stage, and I was the furthest back that you could be. Like, I was the furthest place from the stage. I did that on purpose, you know, because I wanted to be there. Anyway, and he just he pushed his energy to us. Like, he did this thing where he made the energy somehow, and then he pushed it to us, and you felt it. Like, you totally felt it, like a force hit you. It was so cool. And then he taught us all these different energy exercises that were so cool. Like, they were so real. So I get so excited about things because I love energy. Like, I think energy is fascinating. You know, I can't learn enough about it. And I love all the experiments that people do with it. And I love watching people heal. And I love all of it. So anyway. Yeah, we're doing energy this month.
I missed when Jose's life path of 24. I was curious as to what that was. I never caught that part.
Okay, so the 24 is all about it says that you're here to seek a guide to sorry, I hate paraphrasing. I'm not good at it. I can see it in my head, but then like I just read it, it's better. So you're here to seek guidance to get on the right path and to not let your emotions rule you. So what that means, I always want to say this because it can be very misinterpreted. I'm not saying, this is not saying seek a guide like me, go pay someone. That's not what it's saying. It's saying seek guidance. When it says that, it's saying seek your own guidance, seek your own guides, seek your own intuition, seek your own higher power, you know, like seek the guidance that you already have, and then use that guidance to fuel you, because that will fuel you from the inside out. Don't ever seek guidance outside first. Seek guidance inside first, always. It's always okay to have a guide, a human guide, but nobody has the power that you have yourself. Like, you have more power yourself. Every single one of us have more power ourselves than we can even imagine, you know? So like any person that you go to, they're interpreting something for you. They're never actually right on everything that you need, you know? So like, you are the only one that is living in your body with your soul, with your heart, you know, with your perception and your experiences. There is nobody outside of you that actually knows better. So like, just know that, like, always go within, you know?
I'm pretty sure that in, I don't know if it's all 24s, but in Jose's case, it's about him trusting and acknowledging his own spirit guides. And I think that's a big part of it.
Absolutely.
Because they're not, though they will never steer you wrong. They do not have the same margin of error humans have. They're fully tapped in the spirit realm at all times. So I think that might be a little bit more of the guide he's looking for, rather than looking for that in a human being, like a guru or anything like that. I think your spirit guides are very powerful, and I can feel them. So I think practicing to listen to them is more along the lines of what the 24 is to you.
Yeah, it's never saying to look for a human guide. It's always saying to look for your spiritual guides. And truthfully, your spirit guide, I mean, you know this, your spirit guides have been there all along, just waiting for you to acknowledge them, just waiting, like sending you messages the whole time saying, hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. Hey, remember us? We're here, you know? But your guides are so matter of fact. And they're like, everything that they do, there's no emotions, there's no interpretation about it. The more that you tap into what they tell you, the more you're going to get clear communication back, you know, and the more you establish that relationship and that you trust it, the more it's going to just fuel your life in all the best ways, because you are here to be a guide for others. And so they're just waiting for you to be ready to do that, you know, like all the way. You've always been that, but like they're waiting for you to step into it all the way, you know, and accept it and then trust it. And so every single thing that I always teach, the very first thing I always say is that belief is the number one key to everything. The more that you can believe, the better your everything is going to be, the better your psychic gifts are going to be, the better your contact is going to be, your communication, the better your life is going to be on earth with other humans. The more you believe that all of this is real and just discount all the social conditioning around it, the better you're going to live and the better you're going to be able to help others, you know, because we've really honestly just been conditioned not to know how powerful we are, because somebody somewhere realized that they could have power over people if they did that, if they taught us that. So they know, you know, I mean, you know, when I say they, I mean whoever originated it, you know, they recognize that we were powerful creators. And I was just talking about this the other day. I said, you know, I hate saying a lot about religion, because I think religion definitely has its place and it's a beautiful thing when it's done right, you know, but there is not one man in a whole congregation that is the only one that can talk to God. There is not one man that has all the answers and that gets to, like, you know, like this is what I have a problem with the religion. I have studied lots of religions, and I don't have anything like formally against them. It's just what I really don't like is that they constantly tell you that, you know, talking to anything that's there is not real, and the angels aren't real, and, you know, God's only real if you go through this man to like be your conduit, you know, or whatever. They tell you all these things. They tell you not to do all these things because they're evil and whatever. But the truth is that that priest or that preacher or whoever, they're doing exactly what they're telling you is evil and terrible. They're doing all those things. And so they're doing it and saying that they're some special person because they can do it. What they're not telling you is that we're all special people. We're all able to do all of that and more, you know,
They're
and
teaching the opposite. Most religions teach the opposite of what spirituality is.
yeah, they teach us not to believe in anything, even when it comes to your own body. Like, you're taught to believe that a doctor knows more about your own body than you do. No doctor is going to know what's actually wrong with your body. They're going to guess, and you better hope that they paid attention in school that day, you know, because that's why there's medical nightmares, you know.
I always tell people that doctors practice medicine. They don't know medicine. That's the reason why I say they practice medicine.
They like return customers too.
Exactly.
Not all of it. Like, it's like in any profession. It's the same with religion. There's going to be some good ones. I was forced to go to church when I was a kid. That's how I'll describe it in those words. It wasn't a choice or a decision. Since I was a child, I was brought to Catholic Church. I can't say that it was all a waste of time. I mean, I learned plenty.
No, not.
And there were. It's a bit like the politicians. They're confused, and there's other people telling them how to do it. It's the same with doctors. They're not sure. They're indoctrinated. They learn a doctrine of some sort, and then they're spoon fed, and it's programming rather than being open to receive information on your own, which is what all of them are doing the opposite.
Yeah. The truth is that all of society has been conditioned. Like, it doesn't matter what place you hold in society. We've all been social conditioned. We've all been taught the wrong things on purpose. You know, it doesn't matter where it started or how it goes or anything. It just matters that we understand that so that we can stop that and start reprogramming. You know, one of the things that I tell people a lot is that, you know, you're constantly told, you know, that it's bragging to say that you're doing good, or it's terrible to love yourself, or to say you're amazing, or to say you're pretty or good looking or whatever. That's a terrible thing. Well, that's because that diminishes you. The truth is, if you look at anybody that's successful, they'll always tell you about their success. They'll always tell you what a great person they are. They'll always tell you about their wins. The reason why is because they have understood that is what keeps you small somehow. Maybe they don't know it consciously, but they have learned that's what actually keeps you small. If you keep complaining, then you're going to always be focused on the complaint. And like, a lot of people in the last year or two have been coming to me and saying, oh, well, you know, inflation's so high, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I know what to do. Make more money. You can't control inflation, but you can control your money. You can focus your energy, instead of being upset, on learning how to make more money. You know, like, don't focus your energy on something that you can't control. That's what keeps you smaller. That's what makes you homeless, you know, in an economy like this. But the truth is, you can't change the economy, but you can change your own situation. And that's where we get so redirected and we don't understand. You know, we're so conditioned not to know that, you know, and that's hard. So anyway, yeah. I hate going down these roads, but I also hate not going down these roads. I hate not saying this, because it's like, if somebody doesn't say it, nobody's ever going to know it. And you need more people to say it. You need more people to just unveil it, because it's such an illusion and it's so wrong, and it's keeping us so stuck and so sick and so unmotivated. I mean, do you really think that we have this incredible planet full of all these beautiful things and we're only supposed to see our same town every single day? Like, are we really supposed to just go to a job, work our life away, be so tired that we just go to sleep every night and that's it? We just get up and do the same day? It doesn't even make sense to do that. That can't be what was intended,
You have to manifest your best life. And I think 2024 is all about people waking up to the fact, what are you paying attention to? Are you wasting your time letting in the garbage? Because garbage in, garbage out. Don't sit around. Oh, look how negative the news is. You see what's happening? No, I don't, because I don't look at the news. I don't let myself get influenced by that kind of negative energy. I'm busy manifesting my best life, not feeding into the fear mongering that's being shoveled at us constantly, right?
Yeah.
That's how it goes down. We don't want that. So
yeah. Laura says she used to have existential panic attacks when she was younger, thinking about the rat race. Me too. Yeah. I can't work a regular job. I've always thought something was wrong with me. Like, I've always thought there was actually something wrong with me because I could never keep a job. They always wanted to keep me, but I couldn't stand it. Like, I just couldn't keep doing the same thing all the time. And so I just could never keep a regular job. And I was like, what am I going to do? I can't work like normal people. But, obviously I was never meant to. I was never meant to work that way, so. But
I feel the same way. I need some freedom in my job. The idea of I had to do it for many years of my life. So I was kept down, and for me it was tremendous suffering to go through all that for so long. And becoming aware of the rat race and the truth of what's out there was a big part of my awakening. It was a long time ago. It was almost 25 years ago. I was in my early 20s. And everything it was from smoking weed, and it really opened my mind up that much more than I already was. And I went into a depression. That was my first dark night of the soul. It was difficult because it all came, and I'm like, it's kind of like waking up from the Matrix. It's around the time the Matrix came out, actually. So a little after that, I saw the Matrix and said, that's well done. You told the story well,
Yeah, the Matrix freaked me out, and then like stuff that you told me freaked me out even more, because my greatest fear is that whole pod thing that was going on in the Matrix. And then you talked about that, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't even think about that. So, do you want to talk about that?
Oh,
you don't have to, but
well, I mean, I was told by a talented psychic that, we're talking about us being here to lead the way, and being able to go into different wavelengths and all that. Is because and there's a lot of people in Divid 8, and a lot of them are here right now. It's star seeds. We're star seeds, and Jose is a star seed as well, and so are you. It doesn't mean that you're in a pod, though. But I happen to be. Yes, I am. Yes, so time is non-linear, but in one of my existences is an alien species that's in a pod, and so this is according to a reading I got.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm in a pod, but it's not the kind of pod like you're thinking of. It's the opposite of that, rather than, because basically Earth is like the Matrix pods, where all of this fear mongering we're talking about is everybody in the pod, because they're feeding off us, they're draining our energy. There are a lot of negative entities out there. Laura speaks about them all the time, and that's her main focus now. So we're set up here so that these entities that don't have the light that we all have, because we're souls, they do not, or some of them just have very dim lights, and they're feeding off of our energy. We are the source. We are the batteries that they feed off of. So that's what's going on here. So the pod I'm in is completely different. It is that I do not. These pods exist that the Arcturians have, and they're not the only ones. But it's so that it's interesting to talk about this out loud, because it makes me sound insane to some people that are uninitiated. ideas, but I don't care anymore. So none of my business is the way I put it. So I just speak my truth now. I don't care.
The truth is we don't know these things. What we know is what feels right. And so if something feels right, it's not insane. It's you trusting that something feels right. Yes. Your interpretation could be different. My interpretation is different on lots of things, but it doesn't, it probably is very accurate, honestly. Like a lot of things that we think are crazy are actually pretty accurate, and you find out later that they really are. You think you're crazy, but you're not, you know.
But ultimately, none of these things really matter. Like it's good to learn about your past lives or this sort of thing if you believe in reincarnation. I recommend that you start to open up to that if you haven't. But it's good to understand where your limitations are, your obstacles are, your shadow work is that you need to work on with that sort of thing. But the big picture, when we talk about, other lifetimes or being in a pod, all that, it's kind of irrelevant because there's only the right here and the right now anyways. So the only thing you can do is deal with your moment to moment, because the only time that exists is right now. There's no past and there's no future. The now is happening all at once, right? So
I just had that hit me in the face recently. That was actually really hard for me because I have an 8. I have a very strong 8. That's why I've had a really hard life. The 8's about basically a hard life, you know. It's also the master manifester, but it's got two very clear sides. It's either like really hard or really good, you know. But I have always been searching for my past. I have always been trying to find where it went. Like I've always been trying to locate it again, you know, like I've always been kind of like searching and trying to find wherever I exist in the past still. And so about not even a year ago, sometime last year, I was home visiting. I live across the country from where I grew up. Okay. And I went home like 7 times last year to visit. And the last time I was there, I didn't really have anybody left to visit. I had visited everybody and I didn't really have anything left to do. And so I drove around my hometown and I drove to my old house and I drove to like the old places I used to go. And I looked for myself. Like I looked for me and I looked for my ex who died. And I like looked for us there. I was like, where do we exist? You know, it's like time went on without us and you can't even tell that we were ever there. I mean, the only thing that I could probably point to that would say that we were there is if you went up in this one tree where we used to have a tree house, it might say our name still on the tree, like, you know, but even that probably healed over by now, you know, but the truth is I couldn't find us. I couldn't find where we live still. We don't live there anymore. It's not real. Time went on without us and nobody there would ever know that we were ever even there. And it felt so big when we were there, you know? And I know this is like, you know, kind of crazy, but it's like I really went searching. And what I realized was it existed in the moment that it was in, but you can't touch it again. And so it doesn't actually exist anymore. Like it doesn't exist anywhere. Like it exists maybe somewhere if you time traveled or something, but like it made me realize how important it was to live now, to live in this now, right now, you know, because your memories are just that. They're just memories. They're not even real. And the future is not real because you can't touch it. You can't touch anything but right now. And so it really messed with my head. But it also really brought me into an awareness that I've never had before. And it helped me to really apply myself where I'm at more because I think I kept thinking I could go back somehow, you know, like, and not consciously, like I didn't really think that, but it's like when you have loss, you wish that you could go back and change things. You wish you could go find them again. And that's basically what I did was I was like, but where are we? Where do we exist? You know, because he was cremated. So I can't even go visit him. Like I can visit one of my other friends at a grave and I do that all the time when I go there. But like I can't find him there now. He doesn't exist. And it's like, it made me realize that nothing really exists from the past and you can't just go back and touch it again. And And it made me realize how important the now is, you know, because if I would be living every single moment now, like I'll never touch it again, and realize how important all the people are in my life right now, I think that I would get more out of the now than I ever did, you know. And so that's where my focus has been for a few months now, actually, you know. um but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it means. I just know that that's the little journey I went on recently, you know, and it brought my awareness really high. Um so I do want to read some comments. There's a lot coming through. So Danielle, I keep meaning to reach out to you. I really am going to write you. You're on my list. I have you on this paper right here. But anyway, she said, well, I will say it. During my hypnosis, my higher self flat out said, I'm Arcturian in an immersion pod. I didn't even know what that was at the time. Blew my mind to come to find out that shit is true with the Arcturians. I don't even know how to say that, but
Arcturians, it's
yeah.
My
Yeah, and then Laura says the same thing. She says, in my regression, I was told I'm an Arcturian in a pod, but that it wasn't very important thing to focus on. That's the other thing I keep learning, is that a lot of this has very little importance for what we're doing now. It's just interesting. And I think we crave to know things, you know? So I think we're always trying to
focus. We need to focus on what we need to do, not on these things that are irrelevant. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah.
We're all here anyways, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it goes to the point that Tammy was making. We need to focus on the now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever you can do with the now is all you can do anywhere. Like, and like, I know people say that, and it feels silly almost to say things, you know. It feels like you're just saying things because people will say them and they feel cliche. Oh, we lost Jose.
Yep.
But the truth is that we only do have now, and we can't actually touch anything else.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I think we lost you for a second. Can you hear us again?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, but that's the truth. Like, it feels cliche to say things like that, but the truth is that, like, we literally can only touch right now. And it's like there is nothing else that matters. I used to have this saying a few years ago that I said all the time. I would say, you literally cannot touch 5 minutes ago. You cannot take back the words that you just said. You cannot change anything that happened. You must move on. You must stay where you're at, you know? And if you live in the future, that's just as bad as living in the past, because the future doesn't exist either. You know, like, literally you have right now, and that's it. So
it's the greatest challenge of 3D, us living in 3D, and it's why we create all our problems. So when you're looking at the past and you're filling yourself with regret, there's nothing good that can come from it. People talk about learning from the past. Like, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Being aware and knowing stories from the past is one thing.
Yeah.
But living in the past is another. And if you're living in the future, you're living in anxiety. You're living in stress. That's where anxiety and stress come from. Projection into the future.
Absolutely.
You can prepare for the future without worrying. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's something I want to ask you, Steph. Do you have anxiety? Because the two causes anxiety.
Yes.
Okay.
That's sits there in the solar plexus. You know, butterflies in your stomach, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, the idea, even when you mentioned me on a stage in front of a bunch of people, and you said that, I'm like, no, I don't want that. That's
I totally. So this is the exact vision I had of you. Okay, which I don't know if I don't want it to be offensive in any way. I'm just going to tell you what my interpretation is. Okay, and I don't think it's offensive. I just, you know, I don't know if it is. So so I saw you in an auditorium of some sort, okay, with a big crowd. There were a lot of people there, but everyone was kind of on the ground. Like, they were all in, it reminded me of like a high school auditorium, okay, where like the whole class was kind of sitting, you know, but there were a lot of people, like a lot. Okay. And then there were these you know, walkways, like these aisles. Okay. You were in one of the aisles on the far right. Like, this is crazy, but I did have a full vision of you. You were in one of the aisles on the far right, and you had a top hat on. That's the part that I didn't know is offensive or not, but you had a top hat on, okay, or some kind of hat that was big like that. That's why it reminded me of a musician or a magician. You weren't doing magic though, okay? You were doing some kind of hypnosis, but you were doing it one-on-one with somebody as a demonstration in the audience. And I don't know exactly what you were doing, but you were putting your hands on them. See, I even said it. It felt like you were doing a healing. And that's not how I interpreted it before, but that's what came through. So maybe that's true. But it was also a little bit dark. And I remember what colors everything was. Like it was like red carpet, and like black curtains were somewhere. Like, I don't know if they were on the stage because I couldn't see the stage, but there were black curtains somewhere. And you were definitely the leader of the show. Like, you were definitely the one that was doing the thing, but you also were very humble at the same time. Like, you were so like one of the people, and I really liked that, you know. But then it also made me think that maybe you hide a little bit, you know. So I don't know. So that was my full vision. You know,
Tammy, when you mentioned right now about, you know, the red carpet and the black curtains, I got like this thing that came to me that said that vision was that Steph was working in the most profound, the inner ways of healing with that person.
Yeah. It did feel like that. It felt like you were doing, it was like almost a demonstration for other people, but it was really, you were so connected to that one person, you know, that you were life changing to them in that moment, you know, and I could tell that, you know.
Very interesting, because I'm not at that point.
I know. That's,
yeah.
Well,
I thought maybe you're tapping into a past life also, but
maybe it doesn't feel like a past life though. I don't know that, but I'm just saying it doesn't. It feels like a future projection. So, I mean, if this helps you any, I've seen myself on stages since I was born. I can't remember a time I didn't see that. Like, I see people in front of me all the time as if I'm on a stage. I just see that. I've always seen that. And people have seen that about me. But I've known that since I was born, you know. And then with Jose, yours is very similar to the way I see mine, you know. Like, yours was more of a dramatic kind of thing. It was like lights and song, and it reminded me more of like a motivational event, you know, because I could see different lights, and I could hear music, and then I could see a whole bunch of people, but they were all in front of you. You weren't among them. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a very different way. It's a different approach, you know? And that's how it felt. And I kept seeing you writing. So like that was the other thing, was that I kept seeing you writing like all the time. Every time I would glimpse, I would say, so what I do is I always say, how does this work? How does he get there? What does this mean? You know, I always just ask a lot of questions while I'm doing this. And then I would see you like kind of like writing with a pen. But then I figure you're probably not going to write with a pen, but it was probably the way that they were showing me, you know. And then I saw your face on the back of a book. Like, I saw it, like you know how they write up the author stuff. I saw that, you know.
I see it. I see it too.
Do you? Good. Yeah. I always think I'm crazy by telling people things like this, but it really is what I'm saying. I'm not just making it up. I'm just saying it out loud now. I used to not say it out loud. I would have visions and think I was crazy, you know? So
I do enjoy writing, actually. It's, I don't know. I didn't think that I ever would, but I do enjoy writing. And I do do a lot of public speaking.
Yeah.
Just because of the different, you know, the position that I have at work, basically, and then all the different organizations that I volunteer for. You know, I do speak in public a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, when I speak to people, I guess I feel responsible for, you know, providing a message, you know, that's positive, you know, a message that is going to help them and help them in a way. So, you know, I feel a lot of responsibility when I talk to people. So,
It's
so
Yeah.
your
I can
responsibility.
see the whole dramatic effect because, you know,
Mhm.
I'm not going for dramatics or stunts like that, but you know, I do feel that big responsibility that if you're talking to someone in a public setting, you know, in front of a lot of people, in front of a lot of people, you know, that it's you want to deliver something that's positive, then it's gonna make an impact on people. So
Yeah. Yeah. I used to always I used to always whenever I was doing like the Uber thing, I would always uh, pull over on the side of the road, and I would stop for just a minute. I would turn off all my apps because I did multiple ride shares. I would turn off all the apps, and I would just close my eyes, and I would say, God, please bring me who I need, and please bring me to whoever needs me, you know. And every time I did that, I would always be called to people who were like literally straight up leaving a domestic violence situation, fleeing in my car, you know, or like someone who was going through something really bad, or someone that just got beat up, or, you know, like really bad things. It was always so healing for them and healing for me, you know. And the more that you listen to that, like the more that you recognize that your guides are always bringing you what you need and bringing people to you that need you, as long as you stay aware of that, you're always going to be the biggest helper in the world. Like you're always going to be impactful. Like I always worry that I'm telling people things because I know that I tell people things that actually affect what they do with their life. And I was very scared of taking that responsibility because you could really mess people up. And I have met people that definitely take what I say wrong, you know? So I do worry about that, and I was walking around with a lot of guilt about that for a long time actually. And I almost gave up numerology because of that at one point, because it's a lot of responsibility when you know that your voice actually pierces their life, you know, like they take what you say to mean something in their life, and they believe you when you tell them their potential and things like that, you know. um, but what you have to know is that you're so very guided, you're so extremely guided that you are not going to lead people wrong. It's up to them to interpret it wrong, but the
Exactly.
truth is most people are not going to interpret it wrong. Most people are going to step into the them that they came here to be, and you're going to be the first person that wakes them up. Like you're going to be the first one that says you are amazing, you do have a gift, you're not crazy, you know, like you are meant for more. I love being that person. I love telling people that. Like that's mostly what I tell people is look at how amazing you are. You're incredible and you don't even know it, you know. And that part makes all that worth it, you know. But yeah,
So
that's the
you
call.
are helping a lot of people. They
Yeah,
come to you for your help and your guidance, and you provide it. And it's important to remember that words only point to ideas, and
yeah,
how they interpret it is it's up to them. And we all have our filters.
yeah,
I
mhm.
see all the time that I misunderstand what, and I ask questions all the time, and oh,
yeah,
some people think I'm an idiot because I'm like, what? Like, go back a second, what? And oh, I
yeah.
just because the way you put those words together, it pointed to this other thing to me, and but that's not what you meant. Oh, okay, so let's go back. So I'm constantly asking for clarifications on things, right?
Well, I will tell you all the time in the middle of a reading, I will tell somebody something and then I'll say, oh, wait, that's not right. You know, because as soon as I say what it should mean, then the guides go, oh, no, no, that doesn't mean that for that person, you know,
Yeah,
and then I'll go, oh, okay, sorry, that was wrong. You know, the other thing I constantly say is I am literally throwing spaghetti at the wall. When it comes to my business, I am literally just starting things that I think are going to help people, that I believe can help people, but I don't really know what people need. What I know is that I am meant to help people, and I am just going in that direction full force as much as I can so that I can start figuring out what the way really is, you know. but obviously not everything you do is going to work, and not everything you do is going to help people. But the other thing is that, like, one of the things is that I'm always telling people potential. And I don't think that people always know that, and I feel like I need to make that like a very big public announcement. This is your potential. I'm telling you what you decided to do while you're here. I'm not telling you what you will do. I'm telling you what you can do, what you have the possibility to do. But
You
one
have
of the
to
things,
keep saying it as well, because I do the exact same things.
yeah,
Palmistry is very similar to
yeah,
an astrologer would be the same. I just
yeah,
feel the strongest pull to palmistry because I find it extremely scientific.
yeah,
All of it has to do with your interpretation of. But I just love the fact that we have roadmaps printed on our hands,
yeah.
and
It's
and so in
amazing.
palmistry, your passive hand, like most people are right-handed, so the passive hand is the left hand, and that's what you're given, and the right hand is what you do with it, and you'll see discrepancies, you'll see differences in the lines that way.
Yeah,
So I like to reference both, and then when I look at the right hand, um, or the active hand, and
yeah,
I say, this is your potential, but it's really important to say these words like you could do this. And then when you're as a guide, you're kind of a therapist as well.
yeah,
So you can see their pitfalls. And so when I read, a lot of my reading has to do with warnings.
yeah.
It's like,
Me too.
be careful of this
Yeah,
because it's very important for you to succeed on your personal life mission. So
yeah.
wording is everything, right? Like
Oh
you were
yeah.
saying,
I mean,
wording.
I was told that I've attempted this same path 3 times already. Like, that I just won't do it. Like, because I keep saying, when am I going to be on my last life? When am I going to ascend? Because I always see people that are ascending, and that they're on their last lives and all that. Now I have a different understanding about that. But I was actually told that I've attempted this a few times and not done it, which I could totally see because it's big, like it's big. And I know it's big. I've always felt that it was big, and it is scary because it feels bigger than I understand, you know.
And
So,
we can apparently we can repeat lives as well, literally be born again as the same person and do it all over again.
oh,
Hmm.
wow.
But I feel like you just threw a bit of a homework assignment to both Jose and I,
Yeah.
because you've given us readings. I think we both need to do a little bit of meditation on this and get back to you about exactly what you just brought up. So if you're on the third try, maybe we can get a little bit of insight for you on that.
Oh, yeah. That would be
Maybe
awesome. I mean, I don't know if it's specifically the third try. They just said a few times, and that's just my interpretation because they won't actually talk to me. Like, I keep saying, talk in my head, and just talk in my head, or show up in my space. Just talk to me, show me, whatever. But they won't do that. But that's okay. They said that I can't teach anybody how to communicate with their guides if I have it easier than most people have it. So it's
teach by
very
example.
difficult. Very difficult to know things that you're not sure you know.
But it makes total sense though, because if they did speak to you directly, then it would be too easy,
I
and,
know.
and that can really be taught in a way.
That's true. I would lose touch with the basics of how to get started. Like, I wouldn't be able to teach you guys how to make communication, like how to start communication and how to get a sign and then learn what that sign means. Whereas that's how most people have their communication. So, like, I would lose touch with that. I think that's true. The things that come easy to me, I really do lose touch with how easy they are. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
everybody does that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do feel that the spirit guys, if you ever ran into a situation that was really really dangerous, that they
Mhm.
would just communicate the way that you wanted to, that they had to.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've
I had I had a night where that happened. So,
mhm.
like I keep saying, I was an Uber driver, okay? I drove somebody home at like 2:30 in the morning ish, or whatever. And I was in the middle of nowhere in, like, I don't know, South Austin somewhere. and I came out of this neighborhood, okay, and it was like pitch black. And Texas is really flat, so you can see in every direction usually. It was like pitch black, and it's the middle of nowhere. I come out of this neighborhood, and I come to a T where there's a light, and I needed to turn left because I was going back to Austin to pick more people up from the bar, you know, and so I look both ways and there's nobody. You would see headlights, you know, there was nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I felt somebody's hand on my shoulder, and all I heard was don't go. And that's all they said, just don't go. And normally I was like hitting the gas right away, you know, because you want to get there as fast as you can. So the light changes, and I just waited a few seconds, and this car came out of nowhere. I don't know how fast they were going, but they zoomed through that red light. They would have hit me. I don't know if I would have died. I would have been severely injured.
Yeah.
Probably would have died. But literally I heard a voice. So that's actually how I learned how to teach people intuition, though, because it's like your intuition. So the difference between so like Steph, I was telling you, you have anxiety, okay? Because anxiety comes from twos, okay? So your twos are always telling you stories that are not true. It's always making whole scenarios that are not true. And so you're always thinking, well, I'm not really sure how to tell if something's true or not. Well, this is how you can tell, because when something's not true, it'll come with a story. When it's your ego or your anxiety, it's always going to come with a story. When it's real intuition, it's very matter of fact. It is like, don't go. That's it. No explanation. And you can make a story out of that if you try to later, but in the moment, it literally comes with no story. And that is how spirit guides speak. You know, like they come with no story. They come with no emotion. They come with no big explanation. You can make one, but it doesn't come with that. That's how you know it's intuition. That's how you know it's your spirit guides talking, you know? But yeah, that saved my life. And I've had my life saved many times. When I was a teenager, someone was going to rape me. I was in a car and this guy was doing weird stuff to me while I was sleeping. And my guides actually spoke to me, and they said, don't wake up. That's all they said. Don't wake up. So I just pretended I was asleep, and this guy actually gave up, got out of the car, started kicking the car. I don't know how he was going to rape me in the car, but he was somehow.
He wanted you to fight back.
What?
He wanted you to fight back because that's what turns him on, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I found out later that this guy actually was a rapist, that he had raped other people at parties and things like that. And so it was like I knew to listen, but I didn't always listen. You know what I mean? Like there's times when I haven't listened and really bad things did happen, you know. So I've learned to listen, you know. But yeah.
Glad you listened.
Yeah. Anyway. So there's a bunch of comments again. So Danielle says Steph and I both saw and heard the same exact thing for a friend today. That's awesome.
Cool.
That's cool. I love when
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Danielle is a healer as well.
Cool.
That we are both feeling the calling. So
yeah, that's awesome. I think I did her numbers on a live. I felt she had a very strong calling.
She has a few ones. Yeah. She has three ones.
I actually felt like she had the same kind of life purpose as us. I feel like, I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but I think she has
3 ones. She's November 11th, so she has 3 ones.
Okay. Oh, okay. So she's
November 1st.
Okay. Okay. So it's not the same number, but there's something about. I remember doing her numbers. That's what I'm remembering. I'm remembering her hiding from her calling or something. That's what I was feeling, I think, on the live.
Maybe that comes from the 3 ones, because that's what I have too.
Yeah.
So the 3 ones don't make you hide. So the 2 makes you hide. Okay. The 1s make you very determined and motivated, but they also make you stubborn. Okay. So this is what happens. Okay. So So Steph, you have a 2 with your 7s. What that is a head and heart battle. Okay. So your heart's always saying one thing, your head's always saying the other. And how that translates is that you're gonna feel like, oh, that feels right. But your head's gonna then say, but that doesn't make sense. People won't understand. Okay, so you're always gonna have that head and heart battle. And it causes you to hide because it's easier to hide because you don't like confrontation, you know. Okay, and then Jose, you have the 7s with the 1. Okay, so like numbers always make something happen together as well as apart, you know. So like the 1s are the direction. So it's like 7s are all about inspiration, and they're really flowy. Like you don't have any schedule. You don't have any, like, I'm not saying you don't live by a schedule. I'm just saying you don't want to live by a schedule. You work better when you don't. Like, you're somebody who works better with getting on the river of inspiration and just riding it. You know, like that actually works better for you. And same with you, Steph. But those 1s, okay, they're going to try and make a direction out of that flow. Okay. So it's going to cause you to be like a perfectionist. It's going to cause you to want things to be a certain way and to put rules around things, you know, where normally you wouldn't have rules around inspiration. The 1s are going to cause you to do that. They're going to cause you to structure that inspiration, you know. The 2 is going to cause you to misunderstand the inspiration. Okay, so like those are the differences, you know, like 2s are about confusion, 1s are about direction and the path. But like when you combine those 7s, the 7s with the 1, what's going to happen is you're going to talk yourself out of things because you're going to be stubborn around what's best for you. You're going to be like, well, I just don't think that's the right way. You know, like I just don't think I should do that. This makes more sense, you know, because it's also the head and heart. Well, it's not really the heart, it's the head and the direction. But the direction's always carrying you whether you like it or not. And then your brain, well, it's not really your brain, it's really the inspiration of the 7 is kind of trying to get you to get with the flow and just go with the flow, and the 1's going to constantly pull you out of the flow and say, no, focus, you know, we're doing this, you know. So it's going to make you a planner. And then the 2 is going to do pretty much the opposite in a way. The two you also have some stubborn stuff around because the 2 is an ego number. So like the 2 kind of says like that the 7's wrong all the time. The 2 is the doubter, you know, like the 2 is the mistruster. So it's like you mistrust yourself, you mistrust others, you don't really trust anything. And so when your wisdom, when you know, when your intelligence is saying, oh, you know, this makes sense, this is what I should do, the 2 is like, no, that's stupid, you know, and it won't let you. A lot of times anyone with a 2 is going to get in their own way of the 7, you know, like they're going to create their own roadblocks. And the reason why is because the 7 is going to constantly want you to explore and create and do all these crazy, amazing things. And it always thinks bigger than everything else because you're tapped into the field of flow, you know, like the energy field of flow. You're tapped into all the inspiration. You've got muses all around you inspiring you, you know. And the 2 is like the doubter and the self-doubter. And it's like the 2 is always going to say, but you know, you're just a piece of crap. You're not this amazing person. You know, you're not going to be able to do all these amazing things. You're not good enough to do that. You're not. So self-doubt is all about, I'm not enough, or not enough. It's not enough. That's the 8. So that self-worth is the 8 and self-doubt is the 2. So the 2 is always, I do everything wrong. I don't do anything right. So I don't say the right things. I don't do the right things. That's what the 2 is all about. So like, even though the 7 says you're so highly intelligent, a lot of times I'll have people with 7s and a 2 and they'll tell me, no, I'm not really that smart. I'm like, no, you've been told that and you've believed that. And I hate that. I hate that because it's so self-created and it pisses me off because like you're so smart that you know that you're smart. Like I know that you know that, but somehow people have told you and you've believed them that you're not, you know. I don't know if you're doing that because you have a lot of 7s, but I do have people in my in my coach, I actually have someone I coach that has that, and constantly tells me, no, I'm not very smart. I'm not very good at things. I'm like, yes, you are. Please stop telling yourself that. That is not true. And you know that that's not true. And that's what annoys me, is that the 7 is so smart that they actually talk themselves out of being smart. I don't know. It's very frustrating for me.
I think for me, the 3 7s kind of outweigh it, but it is there. But it's not, or maybe it's just with time I've managed it better because that voice is much quieter now.
Yeah,
I
you've
keep it
a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I see everything as my teacher. So I think it was a necessary obstacle for me. It's like everything, and this is like numerology is one perspective of it. It's you have the set of tools, and then you're given the obstacles you're meant to face. So my obstacles may be in my 2s, and I'm sure there are some obstacles in the 7s as well. So I'm at the point where I just welcome the obstacles at this point, and it sure helps.
That's the level of awareness that you really know. Like when you know that you're ready to actually step into the life that you have prepared, basically, like the life you came here to do, the bigger life. I think one of the clues to knowing that is when you start looking at your problems as good for you. Like when something bad happens and you can't even get upset about it anymore because you know that it's leading to good. I think that is actually the marker for when you're ready to step into your power, because that is what I hit years ago, right before I realized that all of this mattered, you know? So yeah,
Next level of awareness.
I would use that as a checkpoint.
It could come in cycles as well. For
Oh
you get
yeah,
your level of awareness, it happens, and then you get a whole other. That's the thing, is there's no finish line. You get to that next level, and it's like, oh, that's not, now it's like level 4 now, and it's a whole new set of obstacles.
Yeah,
whole new
that's
challenges.
the other thing, is that we kind of exist in a circle and things come back. So like, because you're working on learning all of the 2 and all of the 7s and all of the 1s and all of the 7s, it's like you're going to learn something and master it, and then it's going to come back and test you again and test you again, but it's going to do it different ways, and those tests are going to get smaller as you accomplish more, you know. But you're going to have times where you go back into the really hard parts of those numbers, you know, and that's on purpose, because you're trying to fully understand all these numbers. You don't just have them to have them. Like, you have them because you're trying to really understand all the edges of them. So you're going to go through all the bad stuff and all the good stuff. And then every time you think that you've overcome it, it's going to come back to make sure that you really think you overcame it. You know, you're never going to fully step out of any number because you're not meant to. You're not, like I always say, you're trying to overcome like the energy of the 8. Like I talk about the 8 a lot. You're trying to overcome the energy of the 8 because you want to step into the master manifestor rather than being the sufferer in poverty, you know. But the truth is, if you don't stay grounded in the knowing of what poverty is like, it doesn't matter if you manifest all your dreams. You'll turn into a different person that doesn't accept life right, you know. So you have to have those signals that come back and kind of show you who you really are all the time, you know, and where you came from and all that. And so if you learned how to overcome anxiety, that's great, like Steph. But at the same time, it's like if anxiety never came back ever and you just forgot that you ever had it, you would forget what it was about.
It's more like keeping it in check. So yesterday I was speaking of shadow work with Danielle and Laura, who are here tonight. And it's like the shadow is the sun's beaming on you. The shadow's there, right? You can run as fast as you want. You're not going to escape the shadow. All you can do is embrace the shadow, understand the shadow, right? You can't eliminate. It's not going to go away because you're you for a reason. At least it won't in this incarnation. It's still there. You can rise above it, but it is there. It is not obliterated. It's not gone. You carry it with you nonetheless. So the best thing you can do is, make friends with it.
Yeah. Like Peter Pan. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I intended to tell you guys all about the sevens, like what they all mean, but I like this a lot better that we've just gone in every direction, because I really like exploring the edges of things, I think the most important thing about having a seven is to know who you really are, to understand who you really are, to understand that you came here to be a spiritual guide to others, and that's your main purpose. So like when I said in the beginning that I feel into people's numbers when I see sevens and I see if they have a superiority complex, I do that right away because that will discount all of your gifts, So it's like you get so every number has a job for humanity and then it has gifts that you get for that job, And so your gifts are being in the energy field of flow, having all the ideas, having the muses just dance around you. I always say that sevens, it feels like the energy around them glitters or sparkles because I can't see that, but I can feel that. It feels like everything's sparkling around you because there's so many ideas all the time. But so you get all these gifts, like you get to be really wise, you get to be tapped into divine wisdom, you get to access things on the other side. Oh, that reminds me. I want to ask you a question, Steph, before I forget. I'm going to ask it right after this. Okay. I'm not going to forget. Anyway, you get all these gifts, but if you start not helping people, then those gifts turn off, So it's like the ones say that you're a leader, that you're a natural leader. If you start falling back and not wanting to be the leader, you're not going to get all the guidance and all the direction for yourself either. It's kind of like it's a karmic thing. It's like every action has an equal and opposite reaction, good and bad, So like if you took on a job, which every number has a job for humanity, and then you don't do that job, then you're not going to get the gifts that go with that job. It's kind of like helping people. It's like I don't just help people because I love to help people. It's not always that fun all the time, But I help people because it fills me up more than it fills them sometimes. Like I feel like I get more out of it than you do when I'm doing this sometimes, Like I walk away with an awareness that is so heightened because I meet with so many people, And they walk away with a really clear direction and a really clear knowledge of who they are. So it's like a win-win. But it's like you would never do a job that was just all work. And that's why it's hard to live in society, because a lot of times we're doing jobs that don't really equal what we're putting in. This kind of work always equals more than you're putting in. But so I feel into the sevens because a lot of times you'll help and help and help, and then when you need help, nobody is there to help you. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't have the capability to reach you. You operate on levels that other people can't touch, So it's like it's not that they don't want to help you, it's that they literally can't. Their problems aren't like yours. You could have the same problems, but they can't help you with them, because you're somebody who looks at all the layers of a problem, whereas most people look at the surface level. Anyway, so Steph, this is what I wanted to ask you. Okay. You told me this really fascinating thing. I can't believe I didn't think of this earlier because it's been blowing my mind ever since. I need to learn more about it. You were talking about how, so we were talking about how I always say the energy field of flow is right here. Okay. I don't know where it is, but I think it's right here.
Visualize it that way.
Yeah. But I don't really know where it is. I just know it vibrates higher than us. Okay.
It's on a different plane, yeah.
So what you were saying is that you feel like, and also sevens are a collector of knowledge. Okay. Like we can't get enough knowledge. Like anyone with a seven, you just learn and learn and learn and learn, and you can't ever have that quenched. Okay. And you just want to learn in every direction about so many things. Anyway, you said that you think you're collecting knowledge and then you're putting it in jars or something on a shelf. Please tell me more about that, because I've been dying to understand that.
It has since then been validated and explained more in depth through a channeled energy. that was able to. I mean,
Can I
we're all old souls.
Can I
Sorry?
tell you one thing quick before you say that, just in case you're going to say the same thing? I asked my guides what you were doing, and they said you are indeed working with the Akashic Records. So just in case that's what you were going to say, I wanted to say that first because I know that that's what I asked. So, okay, now, sorry.
Well, when I asked the question, I asked if I was working for the Akashic Records, and the answer I got was, "We're all working for the Akashic Records."
Yeah,
But
I need it more directly.
for apparently I'm a very old soul. Like, we're all old souls. We've all had many incarnations, but I've been around for a very long time, apparently. And I have been collecting. I am an information collector. So, and what I was describing is that when I have a question, I don't always have to go to, like, when I was a kid, we didn't have internet. We had to go to the library and go through those Rolodex things.
Me too. Yeah, probably.
Right? Yeah, all the three of us, right?
Yeah. We're all about the same age.
We're in the same boat, Steph.
You guys are actually younger than me, so a couple years younger than me.
Well, I wasn't a huge fan of that, so that's when I started tapping into these energies, and I actually tested this by taking some online tests. Like, I took IQ tests just to see, but the jars that, as I described, it was sort of a metaphorical way of saying is, it's let's just say I have one that's philosophy and one that's math and one that's languages or whatnot. I just feel like I could pinpoint, but it's sort of at the same time it's happening in my head, like in certain memory banks, even though I know I've never learned it in this lifetime, and I didn't even believe in reincarnation when I was younger. I was just a kid. I didn't really think of these things. But I could just kind of tap in and just get, okay, like it could be during a test or something, like, I have no idea what this test is. I have no idea what this question means. And I would just ask for the question, and I could kind of, okay. So I'd write that answer. And I did that. I mean, I didn't do it as, I wasn't a straight A kid or anything, but I kind of did that sometimes. Just like, if I had more confidence in it, I possibly could have done it a lot more. But I just feel like I could tap into like you say, it's like a stream of knowledge is right there. You can just kind of go fishing for.
It's where the divine knowledge is, and you're constantly tapped in, and so is everybody with a 7. Just so you know, that is one of the very common things about a 7 is that we're all tapped into the divine knowledge that we can pull from anytime we want. We can pull past life knowledge, but we can also pull any knowledge anytime. I was the same way with Tess. I used to say that I had a file cabinet of files, that I could pull things from. I think that's very similar. So this is what you told me, okay? Some form of this, because I'm not good at paraphrasing, okay? But like you said, it feels like there's a shelf above me, and it feels like I collect a whole bunch of knowledge, and then I put it in a jar and I put it on the shelf, and then I collect more and put it on the shelf. And I was like, what are you collecting it for? And you're like, I think you said you were collecting it for the collective, like you were giving knowledge to the world somehow by doing that.
Yeah,
that's my interpretation of what you said.
Yeah, I definitely feel that there's nothing selfish about it, and it has nothing to do with any personal need or wants. There's nothing selfish about it. It's truly, I guess it would be the equivalent of, putting it into the Akashic Records. But I was told everybody does it for the Akashic Records. I just happen to have been doing it for, longer than we really understand time. Like, to put numbers wouldn't really matter. But I've just been collecting. This is what the channel message I got because of this, because we discussed it, so that I could tell you this now.
So okay, so you're super humble about this stuff, okay?
The only way to tap into, when you said it earlier, I wanted to add, it's the only way that you can tap into all these things is through a true wanting. That's why I know Jose will be successful, and I can see why you are successful. You genuinely do it to help and further it, and you're helping people rise up. If you're doing it for selfish reasons, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to just get a big roadblock. It's going to stop you. You
I
can't
mean,
go
to
around
tell
doing
you the
that.
truth, you can't do it for selfish reasons, because when you try, it doesn't work. It starts blocking it. And so I've definitely done it at times for the wrong
I
reason.
tried it. I
And
tested it too to see if I could go against the grain.
yeah,
And nope, it was like, nope. And it was just boom right there. And I was stopped in my tracks. I'm like, huh, cool,
yeah.
interesting. Like,
You know
just,
what else is funny is that, so like I have fought the messages that come through, because there's some things you do not want to tell people. Like it's really hard to tell strangers things that are very personal, you know? And sometimes I will sit there during a reading and I'll be like, I'm not telling her that. That doesn't make sense. And I'm not telling her that. It's not true. That can't be right. And they will just show it to me until it's literally the only thing I can see. Because I always say that I have like a movie screen kind of in my head somewhere in front of my eyes. And they show me these pictures and these words and whatever. And they will make it bigger and bolder, and they will make it to the point that I can't literally even talk if I don't say it. And so finally I'd be like, fine, I will say it, because I'm such a stubborn person. And then I say it, and as soon as I say it, the girl looks at me and goes, how do you know that? That's so true. You know, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I've been fighting it for a half an hour. You know? So I better just go with it. But yeah. Um, all this stuff fascinates the hell out of me, obviously. You know, like I don't think there's any edges to a 7, honestly, because you guys are people who manipulate the world around you so easily and so well. And you're aware of it more than most people. Like I think Steph, I think you have a very open awareness that you've explored. I think Jose, you have a very open awareness that you are starting to explore, you know. But I think that both of you are like seriously powerful, you know, like seriously powerful, because you're so tapped in, because your connection is so clear, you know. Like I always say that the spirit guides are here. It feels like a tube somehow, I don't know. But like it's like right here, and it's like I can tell that both of you just have this channel wide open, like just wide open, as if you're just hanging out with them, like you're just hanging out with the guys. They're like right there with you, you know.
I think that's the case for many star seeds. So a lot of the people here
Yeah,
tonight, and a lot of Given 8 is kind of it's a collective
yeah,
of. I
yeah,
mean, we're saying, I don't know if it's everybody. I haven't actually scanned to see if everybody is a
yeah,
star seed, but
yeah,
that it's what a lot of us are doing. Maybe it's because we've had readings from you, but if you had readings with a lot of them, you would probably find the
yeah.
same thing.
No, I've noticed that like the more I work with Laura at all, I've not done a lot with her. Like I've done 2 of her podcasts, and I've watched a couple of her shows and things like that. And I've interacted with a lot of people from her, because a lot of people came to me from her, you know. Um, I've noticed that, you know, they're mainly all the same soul tribe. We're all the same soul tribe. I mean, like there's a lot of soul tribes too. It's not like there's not a lot of soul tribes. It's that we're all from the same one, and we're all ascending soon. So we're all finding each other, you know, like, and we're all finding each other now, because it's time to raise all of our awareness so that we can go when we need to go wherever we're going, you know. And I don't know what that is, like what the next level is. But
I think we have to get together to collectively raise the vibration, but I feel like we have to bring everybody with us.
oh yeah,
In a way,
yeah,
because and again, it comes down to a bit of leading by example.
yeah.
Uh, but I feel like the goal is to bring everybody. It's not just for the collective to move up, right? Or to
Oh yeah. Well, so this is what I was told. Okay. I don't know. Take this for whatever you want. Okay. I was writing a book a few years ago. I was writing that book because my twin flame died, and I was mad. I was very, very angry, because I had just discovered he was my twin flame the day after he died. So I was very, very angry. I was grieving. I burned down my business basically in every direction at that time. And I just spent a whole year grieving. Well, about 2 or 3 months after he died, I was like, no, I can't accept this, you know, because I couldn't decide if I wanted to go on or not. And I was like, no, I won't accept this. And I said, I'm going to write a new story. I'm done with this. I'm not going to accept that this is how our story ended, you know? And so I got on my computer and I wrote, I think I was calling it the Twin Flame Journey. Okay. And I was just going to write a story about how our life went different than it really did. You know, that was my only plan. Okay. As soon as I started writing, I was channeling like instantly almost, you know, and within a few days, I was very aware of what was happening. There were angels around me and there were guides around me and they were all speaking through me and they were telling stories, and I was actually seeing orbs flying around me as I was doing this. I actually saw them physically flying around me. And one day my daughter came over and I had just woken up and she was sitting at the end of my bed, and all three of my daughters are very psychic. And she looks around my room and she goes, "Whoa, Mom, there's a lot of people here." And I was like, "I know, right?" She goes, "Well, they're all good, you know, because they were all helping me write." Okay. And so what I wrote was, it started from creation, and it started with God. It was Mother God and Father God. And I think that it's metaphorical. I don't think that there is actually a Mother God and Father God. I think a lot of my story is metaphorical. Okay. That's actually something I learned from writing it. But it's a story, and it started with, like, you know, the one soul being created and then it being split in two and then it being a female and a male. And we went through this whole thing. But what God was saying at the time of creation was he was telling us why we were created. And he said that basically, like, this is what the whole story is about. It's about how the awareness has been tried to be lifted so many times. Like, the veil was never supposed to be put on us. And it was put on us because we wouldn't listen. Like basic, like, this was the story. And again, this is an analogy. This is metaphorical. This is not the truth. Okay. This is to make people understand the story. Okay. So it was like, he told a story about Adam and Eve, and he said, so basically I was creating the world, and this isn't how the story goes, but basically I'm just paraphrasing. I was creating the world, I was creating the earth, and I was making it really beautiful because you guys are powerful creators and you're going to create through me, you know, like, or sorry, I'm going to create through you, or whatever. He put a spark of himself in all of us. Okay. So we have like a God spark. Okay. Well, so God wants to live through us. And so he's creating this world for us to live in. And as he's creating the world, he decides, well, you know, this tree is really important and this is part of my blueprint. I'm not done creating yet. And he's like, so don't touch this tree. I don't care what else you do, but don't touch this tree just because it's part of my blueprint, you know? And then of course, you know what happens with Adam and Eve, and they touch the tree. And then he goes, oh my goodness, you guys can't listen to anything. You can't follow any rules. He's like, well, now I have to put a veil on you. You know, you can't know who you are. You can't have all this access to me. Like, that's basically how it goes. And then throughout time after that, he was always trying to raise the veil again. He was always trying to bring us back to who we are. But every time that he tried, basically we killed each other. Like, we would learn how powerful we are, and we would realize how strong we really were individually. And then we would rise up and kill each other because we would get drunk on power. And so basically, our entire soul tribe was created so that we could spread out all over the earth, and we could raise the vibration over many lifetimes in different places all at the same time until the whole world could have the vibration raised enough that the veil could actually be attempted to be lifted again. And so that's what we're going through right now. That's what the Great Awakening is. People are calling it the Great Awakening. What it is that the veil is being attempted to be lifted again, and everybody's just hoping that we don't all kill each other again. Like, and so examples of when it was attempted before is like Atlantis and Lemuria, and like Dark Ages and things like that. Like, there's all these times in history that it was attempted, and the Jesus attempt was actually one of the biggest attempts. It was like God said that he came down with Jesus when Jesus was created, and still, I don't know how true it is. I look at it like it's metaphoric, okay? So I'm not sure, but it's like God said that he came with Jesus because he concentrated more of himself in him so that he could be more human with him during the experience of him coming to earth, because he didn't understand how all these beautiful people all these beautiful humans that he created, he didn't understand how we could be so evil to each other, So he came down as love, as part of Jesus himself. And then, everything that happened to Jesus, well, that really happened to God too, like whoever the creator is, metaphorically. And then that actually made a ripple through time and space from the sadness of how, even though he tried to give us all love, we basically, tortured Jesus and all that, and God experienced that. Anyway, it's a lot more in depth than that, but the point was that every time it's been attempted, we have gone the wrong way with it. Like we're just not, I don't know, like humans are just not good at having power. like it's like we misuse power. Whenever we have it, we get drunk on it or something, and then we like blow everything up and kill everybody. And that was never what the earth was meant for. The earth was always meant to be this beautiful place, like this gift, and God's whole focus in that whole book is, so what he says over and over and over, the whole book is, I am you, you are me, and we are one. And so the whole idea is that, I'm giving you this great gift because I want you to be a powerful creator with me. I want you to create worlds and universes and go through time and space with me. I want to see it through your eyes. I want us all to be powerful creators. We all technically are powerful creators. And then, and then this all happened. And so our soul tribe basically was created with the sole purpose of spreading out all over the earth and raising the consciousness so that the veil can eventually be lifted. And it's been going on for like hundreds of years. I don't know how long, but it's been at least 100 years, I would say. And it's finally at the point where we think it's ready. It's almost ready, to actually be attempted again. And then the fear is just, are we going to kill each other again? But this, so how you can know that this has some kind of truth in it, I don't know how much truth, but because like I said, I downloaded all this information through automatic writing. How you can know that this has some truth in it is that, did you ever notice that the people that you connect with most aren't usually living near you? Like you don't connect with a lot of people that are right in your space. It's like whenever you meet your soul family, they always live far, like it's like whenever you really connect with someone, you're like, oh man, it's too bad you live so far. It's too bad we're so spread out. I meet the most incredible people that I feel like I've known all my life, all the time, and they live in England, or they live in Ireland, or they live in Canada. They live in different places, like I have this one friend in Canada. She is the most amazing person I've ever met. I call her sisters. But it's because we've all spread out to raise the awareness,
Starseed.
Concentrate. Yeah.
Starseeds that this is something that's been discussed within the divinity community quite a bit. The beauty of technology is that we can get together and communicate this way, but it's like it's safe to be planted at different places, because, and I've seen this, the Tegetans, there's Swaru or Cosmic Agency that on YouTube that have a lot of channeled messages from the Tegetans. And actually Gosha will be on Laura's podcast on the 4th, so very soon.
I think I just read an email about that. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's so they speak of how the I remember one of the videos saying that one starseed can affect 50,000 people easily in it, and that's actually, I live near a town of 50,000 people myself. So this idea would be like, oh, so I'm probably the only one around this area. There might be you in the bigger cities because there's more population, that kind of thing. So that's why seems like lately, we've been pulled to connect with others even more, even though I've had friends in the past. It seems like Lara has been the lighthouse pulling everybody
Yeah, she really
to
is.
communicate and get with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura is amazing. She is just on it. She just pulls people together. Like it's crazy how she pulls people together. It blows my mind. It's really cool. But yeah, all of this is so just, I honestly don't even know the truth in a lot of things that I've downloaded. I feel like I'm just learning myself completely because this is all over the last few years for me too. But then again, it's like my whole life, I feel like I've known something that other people don't know, and I think a lot of us feel like that. I think most of us probably feel like that, like it's like we can tell that it's an illusion somehow. And it's hard to deny that, So anyway, what do you think, Jose? Because you've been really quiet. I know I talk too much.
I'm just observing the experts here. The people who have been around the spiritual realm a lot.
I don't know about expert, but
Pretty new to
but
me.
you were mentioning about that knowing, as far as that we know that there's more to it. I think that a lot of us, because I remember ever since I was a kid, things didn't make sense the way that they were explained, the way that the world was run. It just didn't make sense. There was always more. I had more questions all the time. I was raised Catholic, like Steph,
yeah,
and I was actually an altar boy, and I was in the whole
wow,
Catholic Church
wow,
thing. And they actually approached me, and they wanted to send me to seminary school. Basically, they wanted me to
wow,
follow that, and I just had so many questions for the priest, and I don't know. I don't think that was very well liked because I just had too many questions that they didn't have answers to.
yeah,
They liked you because you had the ability that they have, but your message, you're going to do something very similar to preaching, but it won't be a religion. It will be about actually spreading the actual truth and helping to awaken people. That's
Yeah.
what I got from.
that's actually one of your numbers. Like so when you have double or triple numbers, they equal something different than normal. And so 3 1s says that you could be a preacher or a speaker, and that's one of your life purposes. If you have 1 1 or 2 1s, it's usually that you won't talk about your belief system. But with 3 1s, you're actually trying to guide others with your belief system,
Yeah.
and it's a calling for you. So
And
yeah,
and I guess that just goes to my point, though, about there is more, and a lot of us, I guess I can consider myself a star seed. We've known this for a long time, and we're trying to kind of gather this information. We're trying to get people together. We're trying to
yeah,
start moving people in the right direction, in a way, guiding them awaken them in a way that there is more, that
yeah,
it's not just what you see. You have to pay attention to how you feel,
yes,
or the stuff that you can't see. And that's one of the messages that I've been kind of pushing, in a way, not pushing, but one of the messages that I'm trying to um, move in the association that I lead. I belong to an association. I volunteer my time in an association that promotes education and mentorship to other people, basically, that are in the same industry that I am, which is public service.
yeah,
And I'm very involved with this organization, and pretty soon I'm going to be leading the whole organization itself. And in a few more years, I'm going to be in charge, as far as leading it statewide. But
no,
my message, and I've made it pretty clear to people what my message is going to be for that year when I'm in charge. That I want people to remove all barriers from what they think that they can do,
yeah,
because we always put those barriers ourselves, and we are like our biggest enemy sometimes. That we set these things, and we we think that we can accomplish something. You know, we always tell ourselves, "Oh, I can never be that person. I can never, you know, hold this title or this position, or I can never accomplish that." But it's really just a switching of your understanding and just kind of like your mentality in a way, and saying, instead of saying that you can't do it, is, "Oh yeah, I can do this," you know, and start moving towards that direction and taking the steps to see what you have to do.
Yeah.
And and another thing too is, you know, my message is going to be not just that, but also too in progressing and moving forward, that is not just your abilities of being able to do a job, but it's also your interactions, how important interactions are with other people,
Yeah.
not just your, you know, your co-workers, but also, you know, just everybody that you come in contact with. You
Yeah.
know, I feel very strongly that every person that we connect to in this life, that we have something to learn from them.
Absolutely.
And you know, I don't know, like I just hear this calling every time I meet somebody. You know, I have this thought, and okay, what do I have to learn from this person, or what do I have to, you know, what is the reason this person came into my life?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Great
and like I said,
question.
yeah, I've been, you know, I think I've done pretty good, I guess, in life so far. You know, just following
Mhm.
that rule, and a lot of that advice actually came from my father. You know, he was a very, very wise guy. He was very spiritual in a religion kind of way, you know, and that's basically how he was brought up in a way. But you know, I think a lot of these teachings were, I think that they had the right message. They just weren't directed, you know, the way that they should have been in a way. So
I agree. Yeah. There's truth in everything. And it's all for good somewhere. You just have to
mhm.
find that. Sometimes you can't always see that, you know. But religion's beautiful, actually. They're all religion is so beautiful. It really does all stem from love. It's just been corrupted, you know. So you have to find the beauty in it still. You know?
Right, yeah,
Yeah, the ascended masters had the correct message, but the message got jumbled by
Mhm.
by human interpretation and manipulation.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
I
But
think a lot of that knowledge is coming back now.
I think
The true knowledge is rising up now. It won't be hidden much longer.
I agree. I really think part of the veil being raised is like on the way. It's kind of like a lot of things are not getting to be the illusion anymore. Like the illusion is being shown now. A lot of people are realizing that our reality is not quite what we ever have been told or what we ever thought. It's actually very, very different, and it's very manipulative. Sorry, it's very easily manipulated. Like I think a lot of people are realizing, like through the law of attraction and manifestation. I think people are realizing how to do that faster now and easier. And when you kind of do that, when you intend on something happening and then it does happen, it's undeniable that you have some control over your reality, and I think that's where the edges are bending for people. It's one of the places.
Hmm.
But yeah, and it's really hard to lie to people anymore. Like it's really hard. Like you don't buy into the lies anymore. Like you still hear them, people still try it, but it's like so obvious. Oh, that was one thing with you, Steph, is that you have a bullshit meter. That's really big. So like you're somebody who knows instantly when someone is fake or has bad intentions or is lying. Like it instantly. Because yeah.
My kids can they learn when they're very young, like, yeah, there's no way. They
Yeah,
don't even
can't get away with anything. Yeah, that's good. It's good for kids to know that with their parents. My kids do not know that with me because I don't have any edges to that. So, but my kids are all grown, so it's fine.
well,
Anyway, I think you guys are so fascinating. We should get off of here though.
yeah, 2.5 hours, and so it's 11:30 for me, and I work in the morning, so
Yeah,
my holiday is over now.
yeah, yeah. I know Jose works in the morning too.
Yeah, but it's not so bad for me. I'm on the on the West Coast, so
Oh,
it's
true. So it's earlier for you.
only 8:30 for me, so it's not too
Well,
bad.
that's good. That's good. Yeah, I have a lot of readings tomorrow, but I mean, I always have a lot of readings going on.
That's good
I
news.
do readings half the week now, and I do coaching the other half of the week usually.
Well, yeah, you're gonna be doing my daughter's reading on Friday, I believe.
I know. I saw her on my list. Yep, I have her on
Yeah,
Friday.
she's another one with some repeating numbers.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what hers are.
I want to get my family done with you as well.
Oh, you should totally. I would love that. I would love to look at all like I love to do whole family readings where you put everybody on one sheet. I talk about that all the time. I wish I could charge so much less for it so many more people could do it, but it's so time consuming.
Yeah.
But that is the most fascinating thing in the whole world. I love seeing how people fit together and what their plans are, and like everyone in a family, when you look at all their numbers at once, you can see the exact pattern that the whole family's working on, because they're all working on the same exact thing, but they're doing it a little bit different and a little bit different, and I love that. I think it's so cool. Yeah, I am obsessed with numbers, obviously. I didn't know that you did palm reading. So can you do that virtually or no?
Yeah, with photographs, and then I'll
Cool.
so I have like 3 shots. You get one like this, and then one where you just have the palm, a close up of the palm.
Oh,
People have photographed it in daylight. It doesn't cover everything because there's also lines on the percussion here.
Oh, yeah.
But I can just, if it's something not clear, I just say, look at yours and let me know, and I'll just describe what we're looking for if I can't see it.
So do you actually offer readings?
I do, yeah. And like I just have, you can reach me through Facebook. I'm also, I turned a new page and opened up, and just I have a lot of people that have had amazing response for it. I can now heal people from remotely. My style is it's a re-remembering for me, where I can actually read each chakra one at a time and find the imbalances, whether they're overactive, underactive, or blocked, or too open. Those are all the possibilities, and I can bring them all into balance again, and help. When I say healing, it's important we use that as a quick word, but you're your own healer. I'm just a facilitator. So I'm simply showing your guides how to do it, that sort of thing. So I'm combining this. So I'm offering the palm reading at $77, and I include a chocolate clearing at that. Yeah, I just I mean, time is time, and I already have a full-time job, but I've had demand for it. So I say, yeah, just reach out to me through my Facebook page, which is Steph Fontaine, or through Divinate.
How can I
bring more people to me?
Let me see if there's a way that I can. Oh no, I can't do that. Sorry. How can I add it? Let me see. All right. So tell me what is it again?
STEPH.
Okay.
Space FONTAINE.
Okay. At what? Like, is it a website or something that we can go to?
That's just my name on Facebook, but my Facebook page as an artist is my full name is Stéphane Fontaine. So STEPHANE, no space, and FONTAINE.com. It's quite simply my name.com.
Okay.
So it's PHANE.
Okay, good. It let me put it there. I don't think it let me before, but it let me put it there. So I can actually show it on there pretty good, right?
Cool.
I'm learning how to use this. It's awesome.
Perfect. And there's a contact form that you can fill out too.
Okay, cool. Did I spell everything right? Like, does it look right?
That's correct. You got it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so reach out to Steph. I assume, Jose, you
It's,
don't offer anything yet, do you? Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't. I don't. That no. Maybe
Not
maybe one day I'll start advertising maybe my book that I wrote or something. So
Yes, I can't wait.
I
So
feel like, yeah, you need to do a practice automatic writing. I think you need to do that. You need to try
yeah,
it. You'd be surprised what comes out.
yeah.
Maybe even just try just letting the pen move around or the pencil, and then
mhm.
it might just start becoming words or even numbers to start.
That's
Uh,
exactly what I told Jose. I thought he
Yeah.
was going to automatic write. And you told me something about your writing that I don't know what you said exactly, but it was during your first reading. You
Hmm.
said that something happens when you write, that like you heal people, or something transforms in people or something. You did tell me that, right? Or did I hear that from my guides?
I think you might have heard that from your guys. I think. I
Oh,
mean,
I could have
a lot of the
sworn you told me something like that. Okay.
yeah, a lot of the times when I write, I I don't know, I don't know where the words come from. Basically, I just start writing, and then I start creating sentences, and all of a sudden, sorry, all of a sudden I have paragraphs and paragraphs, without even thinking. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
automatic rating for sure.
yeah, so I do practice it, I guess, in a way. I didn't know that it had a name. And
Yeah,
usually when people read it, they're like, "Wow, this is actually really, really good."
yeah.
And it's like,
amazing.
I don't know, it just
Good
comes
channel.
out.
Yeah,
Of course, you're already doing it.
of course. Yeah. So you know
Yeah.
how you can tell that you're automatic writing. Um, how I could tell anyway when I do it is I don't know what I'm gonna say next. Like I get excited to know what's gonna happen
Mm,
next. Like when I'm
yeah,
telling a story, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like I'm the one writing it, I should know. But when you're automatic writing, you're not writing it.
yeah.
It's writing through you. Like you're the channel for it. So that's how you know. Like you can tell when you get excited to see what's gonna happen next. Um, at least that for me, that's how it worked. And I am teaching automatic writing. I don't know when. I think it's April or something. I don't remember which month I scheduled it for, but it's coming up in the membership where I will teach you actually step by step how to do it. But you already do it. So most things I'm teaching you are so beginner level, and you're like more advanced. But I do like that you're in the membership. I'm really happy that
I
you're in.
don't feel advanced, to be honest with you. I
I
mean,
know you don't feel that way, but you really are.
guess I guess I do a lot of things automatically, and without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Um, but like for example, the whole, trying to talk to my spirit guys, I kept getting these messages that my spirit guys are telling me like, why do you want to know about this? We're already past all this, like why? We're not gonna do this, they're
Yeah.
basically telling me, and they keep telling me this, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. So
So,
what he's talking about stuff is that so last month I taught how to communicate with spirit guides, and then how to for messages and how to get them, and then how to decipher them basically. And so he's doing the worksheets, which are very basic. It's just ask for a message, get the message, and then try to understand what it means. That's basically what I was teaching. And then, you level up a little bit and you ask bigger questions or whatever. Anyway, so he's not getting any messages. And I'm like, oh man, like I really wanted you to get the messages. And then you finally said, oh yeah, your guides are like, yeah, we already do this. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. We're not going to do this. And I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. Like I never thought that's probably why, because you already have such strong communication. They're not going to play, by this simple way. They're going to keep you advanced where you are. That makes so much more sense, you know.
That's
Yeah,
cool. It's awesome.
it's so cool. It's really cool. So I love that. Anyway, I am gonna let you guys go because it's getting late here too. Um, but I really think both of you are amazing. I'm sorry for blocking your face a little bit, Steph, but I definitely wanted to promote you if I could. So, and I'm gonna check out your readings because I have been so fascinated with palm reading. I don't know anything about it, but man, I want to do that. I think it sounds fun. So,
it sounds very interesting to me too, and especially the chakra healing. I think that
yes, Yeah.
To me, for myself, I've never actually like checked my chakras in a way. So
yeah.
It's more important than the palmistry, indeed.
Yeah.
But the palmistry is quite fascinating. That's why I've been fascinated with it for over 20 years. Like you said, there's no books for your numerology, but there are many books of numerology. I've read a few of those, but I read, probably at least 40 books on palmistry over the years, and only the good. Like I'm like, this one's not worth it. The only one I found good one, including Kiro, who was the original palmistry. That's I mean, he's the original in Western culture.
Wow.
Because the India is far advanced in palmistry, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Wow.
The
what
best
if you? I know I'm like going down another thing, but what if you did some kind of like past life regression or something, and you found out that you were the original one that invented it? You know, like what if that happened? Wouldn't that blow your mind?
Well, I've met some of my soul guides, and I've met some of the guides that are coming in to help me do my work, and I am very much blown away. I'm not prepared to, because this is new to me. I'm not prepared to divulge who they are, because I don't want to put myself out there too much until I feel safe. I don't want to come under attack for things that I'm doing. So
of course.
I don't want to come under psychic attack either. But I don't know. Maybe.
So something that blew my mind recently was someone reached out to me on my Facebook business page, and I don't know who they are. I researched them at the time. It was a few months ago, but they said that they run some kind of school, and they wanted to know if I would teach numerology, and they sounded legit. Like I looked them up. It seemed like they were legit. And they said, do you know, they asked me like, do you know Tamil? I don't know if it was a language or it was a type of numerology or something. I don't remember exactly, but what freaked me out is that my name is that. So like Tamil, Tamil, that's my name. And it's not my real name. My real name's Tabitha. But I've gone by Tammy my whole life, and I changed the spelling when I was little because it didn't feel right, like to be Tammy. So I changed it to Tmi. And when I saw that, I went, whoa, that's my name. So that's a language. I think it might even be a place or something. I think it's also a type of numerology or something. I don't know enough about it. But when they approached me, I was like, no, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know where my numerology comes from. But I think it's fascinating that somehow that's my name, you know? So I wonder if I have some kind of roots in that, you know? I don't know.
That's a rabbit hole you should probably investigate a little bit.
I'm going to ask about it in my next QHHT. I want to do another QHHT because my first one was so amazing, and I just can't wait to go further with it, you know? So yeah, I'm going to ask about it then. And I probably will start researching it a little bit more. So anyway, I think I wonder if like all the stuff that we're doing now, we've done before. That's what I really wonder, because that's what it feels like. It feels like this is not the first life I've done this. Why am I so good at it? It doesn't make sense, you know, to me. So, but anyway, I think you guys are amazing. Maybe we'll do this again sometime if you ever want to. I'm so glad that you guys joined me. It's been fun. So anyway,
you're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It was great. Thank you both. Thank you very much.
So don't sign off right away. I'm going to end the stream, and then it'll, you know, go to a regular screen. So, all right. So bye, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Sorry we didn't answer a lot of comments. I'll go back and look at them then, and hopefully you guys will too. All right. See you guys later.